exciting episode of Way of the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka Mini Wargamer Kris, aka The Name Butcher, aka Hey You, Get Off My Lawn. Way of the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. We usually delve into a lot of painting talk, as well as a lot of what's under the sun, meaning no topics are barred. We'll talk about anything and everything. That means painting, art, life, politics. Who knows where we can go in this show? This show is just completely open-ended, and we will go anywhere and everywhere that the wind takes us. So, be warned. Of course, if you are a first-time viewer and you're joining us live, you can ask your questions over in the chat, whichever direction that is. If you're attending live, and of course, if you're watching on YouTube, you can always ask your questions. And if you're attending on Twitch, you can always ask your questions. Of course, you can always ask your questions to Kris@miniwargaming.com. It's in the description below. You can send your questions there. You can also post your pictures in there. Send them as attachments. If you're sending pictures in your email, send them as attachments. Don't send them as links off to other sites because it just annoys me and it's just not a lot of fun. So send them as attachments in your email. And of course, you can in the description below, you'll also find a link for wayofthebrush.com. That is the central hub of all the silliness. It has the links to the Instagrams, the social medias, the Facebook, Twitter. Twitter's a big one. I post, announcements and crazy thoughts on Twitter every once in a while. Instagram, I post pretty pictures every once in a while. Usually not found anywhere else. And of course, big one is the Discord. The Discord, also, you'll find a link there to our Discord. Join us on Discord. That's pretty much where we're talking 24/7, as the monkeys are all over the world. And so you can post your questions, find some help. Either myself or the monkeys are more than willing to help you out. And so, always. And of course, wayofthebrush.com also has links for t-shirts. Like you can see right here. wayofthebrush.t-shirts.com, or not .com, excuse me, wayofthebrush.com/t-shirts. And you'll find various designs, especially like the new monkey logo, like right there. I've got that on t-shirts already, and just kind of something kind of fun, help support the cause, and look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world. They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. Of course, for everybody who's purchased a shirt, send me a picture of yourself in your shirt and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine. And who knows, the next time I update the intro like we did today, finally, you might be included. I wish I had more photos of the monkeys so that, I would post everybody's picture. I would use everybody's picture and just, and everybody in their shirts, and So send me more pictures, and I will, I might even update the site or the intro before that and, re-edit. Who knows? Or maybe I'll make it like a yearly thing and I'll just keep up, because without their support, a lot of these upgrades and a lot of these fun things that we've been doing lately just really wouldn't be possible. Because it would come directly out of my pocket, and there's only so much money to go around, and so patron support makes a lot of these things and upgrades and such equipment, things of that nature, make it all very possible. And so always a big thank you to my patron. And of course, if you're considering patron support, I only ever charge per Way of the Brush episode. I do post other videos. I've been trying to get back into the habit of posting just the tip, which is just a really fast video of just something, answering a question or what have you. It's just the tip. It's not quick tips. It's not how-tos. It's not a tutorial. It's just the tip. Okay? So that's it. If you're on the YouTube side of things, you'll see a playlist and it's just the tip. And so, anyway, so of course, patron support, always a big thank you. And so I only ever charge for Way of the Brush. So whatever you're considering, contributing, you know what you're getting into, So I don't just, all of a sudden make, 20 videos in a month, and then sudden, it's like, whoa, didn't have to charge that much, right? So again, it's always a big thank you to everybody and their generosity and such. And of course, a big thank you to Carl, aka Guymere Alfer, that's his handle. Beer and Blood Bowl, that's his YouTube channel. Blood Bowl and Beer and Blood Bowl, Blood Bowl and Beer. Oh man, I got that all mixed up. Anyway, that's his YouTube channel. Check him out. Big thank you to him all the time, because he took the TikToks and laugh. Everybody who might be curious, the intro was written by my very talented and generous brother as well, my brother Evan. He is a musician. Some of my nonsense because I was kind of like, well, can we do this? Can we do that? And so he accommodated it. So, because I'm kind of picky. Everybody knows I'm kind of picky, and you know what I mean. And so yeah. If anybody who knows me in real life, yeah, I'm very tedious. Very tedious. It's kind of a drain dealing with me. Anybody who knows me in real life knows it's exhausting dealing with me. So. So, that's the usual intro spiel, I think. Was that it? That was it, wasn't it? I gotta move this mic. This is just kind of out of place here. Oops. Nope. There we go. Sorry, I just don't want to. I can see Jim White joining us. Hello, good humans. Enforcer 357. Greetings, monkeys. Aaron Siege. Howdy, Kris and monkeys. Lord Krabby. Sup, Matter Flowers. Love the new intro. Thank you, Lord Krabby. And I'm sure my brother thanks you as well. Kevin Cabal. Good morning, my fellow monkeys. And Kris, our mighty monkey master. Mighty monkey master. Ooh. MMM. Eric Fountain. Morning, Kris and monkeys. Morning. Ebb and Flow, sup everybody. Dark Commission, hi Kris, and Monkey Beings. Ooh, Monkey Beings, we're being very spiritual today. Monkey Beings. Knitfink, hello everyone. Hello Knitfink. Matthew Perez, good morning Kris and fellow monkeys. Everyone has gone wrong at work today, but I got me some high brew coffee and now weigh the brush to power through my morning. Well, awesome. And thank you for joining us and, tuning in and, catching this live. Mr. Eversberg, hello from the present. Finally able to catch a show truly live, as opposed to truly undead. GeoFits, greetings, Kris, greetings. Jim White, episode 238. Where will the solar, where will the solar has take us? Where will the solar wind take us? Gotcha. Wow, I can't even spit that out yet. And I've already had a pot of coffee. I'm on my second one right now. I just made another pot just before the show. Grabbed a coffee real fast, so now I'm just kind of all peppy. Where will the solar wind take us? Where will the solar wind take us? Where will it take us to where we've never gone before? Ride the spiral. Ride the spiral. Anthony B, the name butcher summons my presence. Anthony. And, usually as soon as I read Anthony B, usually there's another phrase he says right away. I haven't seen it yet. So, I seen a tool for shotgunning beers. And I was thinking about picking it up because, I would like to do, part of the intro is shotgunning a beer. But I realized that, shotgunning a beer at every episode, would lead to a very polluted liver. But it'd be really messy just to kind of, and it just, you know what I mean? It'd be just a mess to clean up every time, right? So I was thinking of doing, just filming a segment where I just hammer back, a beer. I'm pretty sure I posted on my Twitter or somewhere. And it's a shotgunning tool. It's like a little tool. It's like a little shark. It's like an aluminum shark. And you just, shotgun beers, yeah. And you just, and I was thinking about just doing that. And I was considering doing it for the intro, but then, I don't know. I just, you don't want to be promoting and, making people think that, you got an alcohol problem or, you know what I mean? So I usually try and watch it with that kind of crap, right? So, yeah. John J. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Mr. Eversberg, I normally have to wind the show about 30 minutes. Oh, okay. Interesting. So usually you're watching the show 30 minutes in the past. Very interesting. Dark Commission, episode 238, and now the weather with Paula Vortex. Paula Vortex? Paula Vortex? Paula? Is that what we're calling it? Paula? I thought it was something else. On the North American side of things, I thought it had another name. Oh, Jaden. Yeah. Wasn't it Polar Vortex Jaden or something like that? What a stupid ass name. Jaden. If any of you guys named your kid Jaden out there, you made a bad move. You done goofed. You done goofed. Because that kid's just going to get beat up all the time. Or be a dick. One of the two. Boy or girl. They're going to be a dick. Anthony B, you could just Stone Cold Steve Austin 2 cans. I'm not familiar with that. Why does he do that? Yeah, see, like, I watched one video with Stone Cold where he was trying out like more like frou-frou drinks, you know, like the little umbrellas and fruit all over it, you know what I mean? And he was trying those kind of things. I thought that was funny because he's often, you know, typecast as kind of a big burly macho kind of guy, right? And you know, despite the outward appearance, I'm not a big burly macho kind of guy. Despite the appearance, right? So some of you are probably going there, no, Chris, no, say it isn't so. Goes to Star Alex, I'm late. Foo. Like Fu Manchu. John J, I love the new intro. Must admit, though, I miss the shitless Gim in the intro. Shitless Gim. You meant, I think you meant shirtless, but yeah, shitless. The shitless Gim. Well, I'm supposed to go visit Gim at some point, and so I definitely will have to get something like that filmed if I'm, you know, hanging out with the man. And yeah, so I'll have to, if I do manage to get it in, then I'll shoehorn it into the intro somewhere, probably at like the very end, as the logo is falling back, and then real fast it'll be a shot of like Gim in no shirt. Jeez. Jim White, beware an angry marine cry has been typed. Beware an angry marine cry has been typed. Oh, foo? Is that what that is? Sorry, drinking a lot of coffee. Oh. GeoFits, every year with the WHL draft, there's an article or 3 written about all of the best names drafted and how any Aiden variants that are in the draft. Yeah, John J. shirtless. Yeah, I know you probably meant shirtless, but you wrote shitless. Kevin Cavallo, episode 238. The shitless Gim, sponsored by Molson. Actually, I don't drink a lot of Molson these days. I haven't drank Molson in like, because there was a while there, way back in the day. Yeah, I was drinking a lot of Canadian. But then at some point, it was like, oh, Canadian was just sitting too heavy in my guts. And then, so then I switched to something a little lighter, and I was drinking Blue Light. And that lasted a little while. And then I stopped kind of drinking beers at some point. A lot of beer anyway. I'm trying to think. The evolution of my taste buds as far as beer went. I don't know, because like when I moved down to here in Southern Ontario, I was drinking a lot of James Reddy, what the Steam Whistle. Steam Whistle's a good one. James Reddy is a good one. It's you know, it's good. It's good. It's a bit, but it's a bit heavier. It's a bit like Canadian, really. Is what it was. So I guess I kind of went back to a heavier lager, but yeah, I'm trying to think now these days. I'm only on Thursdays do I consume beer, and that's Coronas, and that's only because, you know, these days. Oh, Moosehead, yeah, Anthony Moosehead, yeah, very good call, yeah, Moosehead. That was the other one I was drinking a lot of. Was Moosehead, yeah, with a lime. I don't know if I drink it with a lime. I haven't tried it with a lime. I haven't drank Moosehead in a while, but yeah, Moosehead was a really nice, light, crisp kind of taste. Yeah, Moosehead was a good one. Yeah, I was going through Moosehead quite a bit. Because I remember I would bring cases back. Not like, it was a span of like a couple weeks, and I bring all the cases back. Not like a weekend thing or anything like that. Although, but anyway, yeah, I've cut back my beer drinking. I've cut that way back. Only Thursdays with lunch, and that's it. I don't consume beer at any other point, unless of course I go out and, you know, have a beer or whatever. But yeah, old Chris is cut back his beer consumption. Well, I mean, you know, Chris has got to watch his blood chemistry, right? So, which I finally got back to normal again. So, happy about that. But I've also been, you know, doing a bit of walking again and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway, Matthew Perez, too late. It's been read and it's hilarious. I'm laughing up a storm on my side of the building. Yeah, I'm sure. Shitless Gim. I should change his channel name because on Discord, Gim has his own channel. It's called The Padded Self for Gim, and I should just change it to just The Padded Self for a Shitless Gim. Oh, jeez, yeah, maybe I should just change that. Grim, if you're on right now, why don't you go ahead and change Discord or Twitchy if you're on either one of my two right hand men. Why don't you go ahead and change it to a shitless Gim? Geofits, Aiden, Braden, Caden, my friends, their neighbors and friends, close friends. We vacation together and everything like that. And their youngest his name is Caden. He's a pain in the ass. And if Caden's watching, you know you're a pain in the ass. Kid's getting freaking tall too. Jeez. Anyway, Hayden, Jaden, Caden, Raiden, like Mortal Kombat. Damn, I would have went with Raiden. Just so I call him Lord Raiden. Yeah, that'd have been freaking awesome. Gee, I wish I thought of that now. Because my oldest son, well, I only have the one son, but is Alexander. Nice proper name, right? And then my daughter, it was there was a few directions we were going to go, but I ended up because I always liked like Jennifer or and so hers is Jenna, and yeah, just the two. I only have the two as far as I know. No. Aaron Seach, Gim without a shirt and then fade to black would be good for an outro. Then you wouldn't come back and see if anyone was still watching the stream. Guaranteed everyone is gone. Yeah. Anthony B. Moosehead had a lime beer. Very good on a hot summer day. Oh, he had a lime beer. I thought you were throwing lime into the Moosehead. I think just a little bit of a lime. Kind of like a Corona, because Corona's a nice light beer too, right? And just chuck a little bit of lime. My mother, she likes hers Corona with just like a little bit of salt and a lime, and she drinks it that way. And one of my cousins, the spouses of my cousin in Florida, and he used to always get draft all the time, and he used to just chuck a bunch of salt into it, and like I was like, what, but yeah. Edward Horseman. What about Belgian beers? Have you drunk Belgian beer, and what did you think of them? What the heck is that one? I tried it not too long ago. It was you serve it with an orange. Something moon. What is it? Moon. Come on, what is it? Anyway. Yeah, there was one of those beers that, yeah, and I'm pretty sure that was a Belgian one. I can't remember what the hell that beer was called. But otherwise, no, I'm not that familiar with any Belgian beers. I see, like, again, like I've really, like, over the last year, I've really reduced and cut back, and you know what I mean. And I'm, like I said, I only drink Blue Moon. That's it, Blue Moon. Thank you, Aaron. Yes, Blue Moon. Yes, thank you, Matthew Perez and GeoFits. Thank you, Blue Moon. I've tried that one. I only had one. Had it with a little slice. Reziel, thank you. I have decided to Twitch. Okay. And yeah, Blue Moon. That's it. I've tried that one. A little bit orange slice, and yeah, it wasn't bad or anything like that. It's not like I was drinking it. It was like, this is crap. It was nice, and and the orange was a very nice accenting to the beer. I don't know if it needed to be like right alongside or in the drink, but I think just kind of like a rimming of the glass, I think would have been enough. Something like along those lines. But otherwise, yeah, I've tried that one. But otherwise, yeah, I don't go in for a lot of beers these days. If I'm feeling like I need some alcohol, it's usually whiskey. I'm sorry. I just it's whiskey. Geofits, one of the best I've seen was two brothers named Orca and Sequoia. Orca and Sequoia. Okay. Yeah, Sequoia, I think I've heard Sequoia before. Orca? No, I've never heard Orca. Who would name their kid Orca? Crazy freaking people. Aaron Seach, you should not have to add fruit to beer to make it taste good. No, you shouldn't. But it helps. I mean, you know, like how many, like cocktails, right? It starts the same way with cocktails. I mean, like, you know, some people are like, oh no, just drink vodka straight, right? But no, you can just mix whatever with vodka, and, you know, and you got something tasty. And you know, beer shouldn't really be anything else different, right? I mean, have other things to accent and play off, you know, off a beer. I mean, it is one of those things that has been around and been a part of humanity for so long that, you know, like really, like, you know, should be a school on, you know, creation, drinking, and, you know, culinary accent, you know what I mean? Like all these things that go along with, you know, beer culture, right? Because just about every culture on this planet has dabbled in alcohol or beer or whatever, right? And so I don't know of too many cultures that in their past or today, whatever, that alcohol is not part of the culture. But anyway. Anthony B. The craft beer scene is growing pretty good out here, and there are tons of good beers coming out, but I've been cutting back as well. Yeah, craft beers, you know, again, I mean, it'd be kind of fun, you know, to go kind of, you know, hit the town kind of thing and try out like some beers and, you know, stuff. But again, I don't really intake that much beer these days, you know. If you did really convince me a couple years ago, I'd have been, yeah, no problem, right? But since the old diabetes, you know, gotta watch myself, right? Jatham, Geek of Speeds. Whoa, haircut, new mustache style. Something is making you look 10 years younger, Chris. I don't know about that, but haircut, yeah, haircut. I had, man, I guess it's been a while since you've been around. I cut the hair in May of 2018, and the mustache. I've been just doing more curl to it lately because I recently found a good supplier of product, and so I've been going to them. They're a company out in I think it's Mississippi. You know, they produce a really great product for a really good price, and so yeah, I just recently ordered a couple tins from them, and because my current tin, I'm really low. It's like, you know, it's on vapors right now. So, but I like adding a bunch. And then just, you know, leaving it, and then I don't even have to add. So like when I like shower or whatever, like I just quick, you know, pad my face, dry it and everything like that, and then I can just quickly resculpt it and everything, you know. But anyway, I can talk men, fashions, and politics all day, but I'm afraid work must intrude. Sir Peanut Butter, howdy peeps. Oh no, I'm late. Oh no. Rezio, I don't care for wheat beer much. Wheat beer. No? Do you have like the whole gluten thing going on? Is that why, Razio? Geofits, crazy Pacific Northwest hipster parents. Those crazy ass parents are everywhere, man. I mean, just, you know, I don't know. It's just really weird. But I mean, like, you know, when things are like kind of coming back around full circle is when a name like, say, Agnew, right? Agnew makes a comeback. That's when you know everything's coming back full circle. You're going to see all these old-timey kind of names, you know? Gertrude, right? You're going to see all these old-timey type names popping back up. I was almost an Agnew. Agnew? I think it was Agnew. My father, before I was born, my mother told me the horror story that he almost named me like something really goofy like that. And I was like, geez, thank God. It was my mother's idea to name me Junior, basically. Because my father was a Kris. But different Kris. His was a CH, whereas I'm a K. As you all know. Because I don't have to explain that, right? Every week there's usually somebody who spells it CH. It's like, no, you spelled my name wrong. I shouldn't answer those questions. If you spelled my name wrong, I shouldn't answer those questions. I should, click. Rezia, gonna send out an email soon. Working on custom Spacewell Primaris Battle Leader to use in my Dark Angels. Interesting. Cool. Ben Ellis just uploaded all the 3D files to make an Eldar Titan if anybody wants them for free when they are on Discord thread of Monkey Trade and Swap, as it seemed to be the most appropriate field. Interesting. I'll have to check those out. Like, do they look cool? I'll check it out later. Ben, you don't have to. Well, you can tell me, but yeah. So anyway, if anybody wants those in Discord, yeah, sure. Hook up with Ben. Hook up with Ben? No, that's not right. I mean, if you want, unless you want to hook up with Ben, I don't know. I don't know what Ben's marital status is, so you know. If you want to hook up with Ben, trying to get Ben a date. Could be married with 15 kids or something. I don't know. Geofits. Actually, pretty sure there were Canadians from BC. Yeah, oh, they're everywhere. The hippies are everywhere, man. Damn hippies. Damn hippies. Ben Ellis, the 3D files are not of my design, though. Ooh, careful. Eldaria Lamborghini. There is a school near you, Kris. The Niagara Brewing College. Is there? Really? Didn't even know. Well, I'm not from this area, right? So I don't know all the ins and outs. I still actually feel like a tourist sometimes as I kind of cruise around and check stuff out around here and stuff like that. Yeah, but anyway, Jabba's Left Nut. There's a Belgian beer, Stella Artois. Its nickname is Wife Beater. Jeez, that's awful. That's awful. That's awful. And if you laughed at that, you're awful. But it's funny, so I'm awful. I mean, you already know I'm awful, but Stella Artois is why is it called Wife Beater? Because people just get hammered on it and then beat up their old ladies? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Or because it's Stella, yeah. Streetcar Named Desire, yeah, Stella, Brando. Anyway, I've drank that one. Okay, so that's a Belgian beer. So yeah, I've drank that one. Drinking. I've drinking that one. That's not right. I've drank. I've consumed that one many times. And I never felt the need to beat up my wife. So I don't know. Debunked. John J, my wife won't give me my Way of the Brush shirt back. Well, it probably looks better on her anyway, though. I'm just gonna flat out say it probably looks better on her anyway. So yeah. Although might have to arm wrestle for it. Just don't drink any Stella Artois. Apparently, that's awful. It's awful. Don't laugh at that. That's an awful joke. Don't laugh. Spousal abuse is a serious problem. It's a real problem. Anyway. Edward Horseman. Stella Artois doesn't even deserve the title of Belgian beer. LOL. Really? It's awful? I've drank it. I mean, like, I wasn't like, ooh, I gotta drink this all the time. The only beer that I drank and was like, ooh, I gotta drink this all the time was Dos Equis. Was one of those beers, so I just drank it and I was like, ooh, wow, this is really good. I like Dos Equis. It's fun. But otherwise, Corona all the time. Just because, again, just because of the way my palate works these days, I don't really go in for the heavier beers. I like lighter stuff. Just because, man. Just because. We'll cut it down to health reasons. Health reasons is why. Although for health reasons, I shouldn't be drinking beers anyway. But moderation, right? Moderation. Like I said, I only consume them on Thursdays, and that's usually my bad day, right? Because I have wings and beers, and I mean, you can't have wings without having beers. That's like peanut butter and jelly, coffee and cigarettes, and you know what I mean. Not like the cigarettes into your coffee. I mean, like coffee. Yeah. Anyway. Aaron Seach, I love beer, but cut it out. Haven't had a beer since the Way of the Brush game at Adepticon last year. Really? I wish I could say the same. I mean, at Adepticon this year, I'm going to be drinking beers. I mean, mainly because, like, up here in Canada, they don't serve beer in every corner store, right? Because you can go pretty much any corner store and find beer. In Quebec, they do, but in Ontario they don't. I don't know, maybe Alberta they do too as well, but either way, in Ontario they don't. And that's where I'm at, is Ontario, for anybody who didn't know, for all one of you out there. Anyway, so alcohol is not that widely available, and the other thing that is not available, which, you know, I enjoy, is the big 40s. And so I usually just grab like an MGD of a 40 of MGD. I like that one. That's one of the American beers that I enjoy, is MGD. Again, light. You know, it's not too heavy. It doesn't sit heavy in the gut. Although last time I drank it, it did feel kind of heavier. Like Corona is a lot lighter on the palate, whereas MGD has, you know, something else to it. You know, but anyway. Reziel. No, just a fan. Just not a fan of the taste. Blue Moon is a wheat beer. Oh, okay. Dark Commission. Stella Artois is Friday night fighting juice. Is that why it's called the wife beater? That's a terrible nickname. Same with, like, you know, the white tank top shirts, you know, like the undershirts. Like, when did that become a thing, when that was called a wife beater? I mean, yeah, it's such a terrible, terrible name for something so, you know, I don't know. Aaron Seach. My youngest is named after a character in 40K. Corvus? You named your son Corvus? Lehman? You named him Lehman? Jatham, Geek of Spades. Stream keep buffering for anyone else? Curious if it's just me. I don't know. Is the stream buffering? I'm showing everything normal here. Ooh, I see a few drop frames though. So yeah, there might have been a bit of a problem. I don't know. It's entirely possible. But I'm currently not showing any more. And yeah. I wonder if it's... Oh, you know what? Am I in 1080? Okay. Let's do this. Let's just reduce that down so we're not hogging up that. What resolution am I at? I think I am at 1080. Okay, because normally I don't broadcast at 1080. I normally broadcast at 720, just because it's a little easier on my system, my bandwidth, and all that. It's more or less my computer. I'm not usually broadcasting at 1080. But I think, yeah, because last time I was goofing around. Oh no, I know what it is, because I was filming something else and I had it at 1080. That's why. So that could be why the stream might be. It's probably why my system's running at 30%. And yeah, I don't hear my fans going, so can't be pushing my system too hard. But yeah, so that's probably it. I'm probably pushing my system, because normally, like I said, I don't normally keep it at 1080p for Way the Brush. Other stuff, you know, sure. But anyway. John J. I named my oldest son John. Almost named my son Sean. Then thought Sean John. Hell no. John, yeah, that's awful. That's awful. Yeah. No, we don't need any of that. Matthew Perez, half tempted to go old school on my first kid's name. Definitely go old school, right? I'm trying to think of a good one. It's just, you know, Bertrand. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. It's not just the monkeys trying to butcher your name in return. Geofits. Most of the women's name in my family are old-timey. Eileen, Alice, Joan, Carol, Janet, Nancy. You know what, though? I've known Carols, Janets, Nancy's, Alice. I don't know if I've ever... Well, yeah, I've known Eileen's, but they were generation before, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. I hear you. Evan Foe, Kris, if you can't be with the beer you love the beer you're with. Ooh, that's wise. that's some wisdom for you right there. Um, Jatham Geeka Spades. Well, dang. Well, dang. Anthony B. My wife wants to have Daenerys be our child middle name if we have a girl. Am I saying that right? Daenerys? Daenerys? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I don't think I've ever heard the name Daenerys. Yeah, that's interesting. Matthew Perez, how Kris had mentioned getting those 1800 Roaring 20s common names back in style. You never know. You never know. I mean, like I said, you watch. Because things are always circular, right? And, you know, guaranteed, those names are going to come popping back around. Guaranteed. We're going to see a revival of sorts. So anybody who's currently, about to have a baby, maybe you want to look at some of those old-timey type names to stand out from the crowd with all these, I don't know, naming their kid Sienna, or I don't know, all these crazy-ass names. I don't know. I just went for pretty straightforward kind of names, Mind you, though, my kids have Ojibwe middle names, so, kind of. But I mean, my son's is like really long. the way you say it and pronounce it and everything. It has a wonderful meaning, but yeah, it's a really long ass name. As everything in Ojibwe, it's kind of long. Ben Ellis, happy with the idea of the date, as it means I can get a night off from the wife and the 4-year-old. All right, well, apparently Ben's looking for the hookup, so maybe you want to shoot Ben a message. It's awful. You're gonna get Ben in trouble. John J. The origination. Anyway, rule of thumb was the old law where a man could beat his wife if the stick he used was no wider than his thumb. I've heard that one as well. I'm not sure how true that one is, but I've heard that one as well. Reziel, which brings up a question. Would you still call the classic sleeveless undershirt a wife beater in this day and age, keeping in mind their actual name is a shirt? LOL. Right. I mean, well, it typically is it's called an undershirt because typically that style of shirt was always worn underneath, your dress shirt or whatever shirt you're wearing. But of course now tank tops are a thing, but tank tops are a different style than that undershirt style, right? And so, but yeah, the undershirt style is typically the one that people call wife beater, right? Because you walk around in a tank top and nobody says you're wearing a wife beater, right? You can wear a tank top and say, oh, he's wearing a wife beater. That's not the wife beater, right? The wife beater is the undershirt, right? So, yeah. I mean, I've always known them as undershirts, and then, of course, in recent, decade or whatever, people call it a wife beater, and it's kind of awful, but, I mean, it's funny, but it's awful, and it's not funny, but it's funny, what I mean? It's one of those, I mean, the day and age of common expressions, I mean, like the rule of thumb, right? We use that very common, and we don't even think about the etymology of it, and, and wife beater is the same way, right? It's the same thing. What the rule of thumb? Apparently, if it was, you couldn't beat your wife with anything thicker than your thumb, right? The rule of thumb. And I don't know how true that is, but as the legends go. So, yeah, the etymology of wife beater, right? I mean, it could just, people brand it. You could see commercials, Hanes is having a sale on wife beaters, you know what I mean? Like, that's when it's entered the vernacular in a sense that there's a disassociation with its name. And then, yeah. Because, rule of thumb, right? Because, oh, Rick, you hit her pretty hard, right? And so it's, you should have used the rule of thumb, and, Anyway. Dark Commission. Stella Artois and wife is wife beater. Way the Brush t-shirt equals wife treater. That's a good one for John, yeah. Way the Brush t-shirt equals wife treater. That's it right there. Dark Commission, you're a clever lad. You're a clever lad. I think Dark might be older than me, but I don't know. Anyway. Or younger, I don't know what to do. It's either one of the two, right? Rezio, I like Stella. My go-to beer is a regular Sierra Nevada. It's like my Budweiser. Interesting. I want to see Kris play Edward 40 Hands. No. Although I was thinking that, you know, the next time I'm really, really plastered, me and my son are going to have to like play the slapping one. See who knocks out who. It'll probably be him knocking me out. He's got great big mitts on him. Edward Horseman. There are a lot more tasty Belgian beers out there than Stella Artois. Example, Carolus Guden. Carolus Guden. I'm not familiar with that name at all. I'm not familiar with that. Raziel, I met a guy this week who named his kid Goku. I said, he's your son, Goku? Why not? Right? You know? I guess. It's kind of crazy to me, but I mean, whatever, right? I think for me, because I mean, like, you know, growing up, I mean, like your name means something. It's your identifier. But, you know, going with these out there kind of names, you know, off the beaten path kind of thing, right? You know, it's bringing new meaning, I suppose, but do the words themselves in relation to you have meaning, right? Because, like, when I was thinking of Alexander for my son's name, because he was going to be Alexander, even before the day I learned that the wife was pregnant, Alexander. I was pretty set on Alexander. I wanted something strong, you know, distinct, you know, a proper name. And, you know, I mean, like, really, you know, I mean, you think of, like, Alexander the Great, right? Alexander, you know. It has a nice sound to it. And it's a commanding kind of name to begin with, you know. And, you know, that's why I chose it, right? And then, of course, my father gave him his middle name, which is in, you know, which is Anishinaabe, which is, you know, I'm not going to say now because names have power. Jim White, yeah, the stream's buffering every once in a while. Yeah, it's got to be. I'm not showing any more drop frames, but yeah, and my kilobytes right now is fine, so I'm showing everything is pretty much the usual. But again, yeah, I'll have to switch my settings back next time I do the show. So yeah. Aaron Siege at Kris, we found out he was a boy around the time that Logan Grimnar model came out, so not being able to decide on a name, I said, how about Logan? And the wife went with it. LOL. You know what though? My daughter was almost a Logan. Or if I had another son, it would have been Logan. Yeah. That was on the table. Logan was on the table. Because at the time Logan was kind of a boy or girl's name. You know? I mean, these days, you know what I mean? Just about every name can be a boy or a girl's name, right? I mean, you know, you think like, you know, I don't know if this sentiment is antiquated, but like a name like John, you know, it sounds like a good, strong kind of manly name, right? John, that's John, right? But Johnny, right, which is often the nickname, you know, Johnny, right? That can be boy or girl, right? You know, Kris, Christopher, Christine, Chrissy, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Tony, Anthony, right? Tony, boy or girl. I know Tonys that are boy and girls, even within the same family. So, yeah. Why not, right? Edward Horseman, Way of the Brush, episode 238, Names and Beers. You know what? Names and Beers. I like it. Names and Beers, because we've been talking a while about beer and names. So, let's run with it. We're going to run wild with this. That's what we're sticking to here. And, yeah. So, good call. names and beers. It's kind of like boats and hoes. Boats and hoes. Ghost Star Deluxe. Daenerys is from Game of Thrones. Oh, is it? Okay. You know what? Honestly, I think this weekend, my son and I, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna start on Game of Thrones. I think that we're at that point now where we're gonna actually just get to it. I think because it's last season, I think, for Game of Thrones. So, yeah. Anyway, Ben Ellis. Can anyone else access not Patreon? What? Can anyone else access not Patreon? Not Patreon. What's not Patreon? Not Patreon. I don't know what you're meaning there. Anyway. Fur Fritatis? We named our newborn Faust. Actually, Fausto in Spanish. What does Faust mean? I've seen the word before. But I'm not familiar. Fausto? Interesting. Yeah. I mean, other than English, they names in Swahili and Vietnamese and Spanish apparently. Yeah, I wouldn't know what would be outside of the norms for those kind of conventions, right? Whereas in North America, naming your kid Moon. Oh, all right, Moon. We'll go with it, Sure. It's not my cup of tea, but I like a good, strong, proper name for a person. You know what I mean? I'm a firm believer in your name really defines who you are. Like my name, my middle name, because my middle name was given to me by my grandmother. When I was born, I was named. My kids were born; they were named. It's very important. And the names have meaning, right? I realize some people, it's like names don't really, they're just, it's a name, right? And that's probably why we're at the point where we're at, where these names, words are just being made up and, things like that. And, names have meaning because there's only one of you in this world, right? Even if you're a twin or triplet or whatever, there's only one of you in this world and you're unique. And what you bring to this world is unique. And the time you're here should be cherished. And you should always be a blessing to others if you can possibly do it. And so your name is important. Anyway. Solid Home. Funny, but not funny. But yeah, So, well, yeah. Ebb and Flow. Kris, watching the show today with my youngest son, Brock. Kept the Scandinavian flair with the spelling. Really? Is that really, Brock? Would it be still said like that, Brock? Yeah? I don't know if, Ebb and Flow, I know because you throw funny things at me all the time, so I don't know if you're actually being serious or not. I'm going to assume you are. He's probably like, I'm not even married, dude. I don't even have any kids. See, that's the next response I'm expecting from Ebb and Flow. Not that I don't, pay attention to what Ebb and Flow's talking about, but I mean, he's always throwing me curveballs, and I'm just kind of, I'm always kind of ready. I'm like bobbing and weaving here. Okay, all right. Nice jab. Good parry, old man. Matthew Perez, for those out of the loop, Samuel L. Jackson in Black Snake Moan, that's the wife beater undershirt. I think it's common that's what people call that kind of undershirt, as a wife beater. Why that's common? Why? You know what I mean? Because really, when you think about it, a wife beater, that's not funny, right? It's funny, but it's not funny, and I just don't. It's a common expression now to call that kind of shirt that, and it's just kind of weird. For any of you first-time viewers, like I said in the very beginning of the show, that we can go off on whatever kind of tangent. We'll talk about anything. We usually talk about painting, but today, apparently, we're talking about wife beaters and beer. Razia, well, that was in the movie, so it must be accurate. Yeah, it's gotta be, right? Kevin Cabal. Many moons ago, the military used to issue white undershirts like the wife beater. They referred to as a singlet. Yes, I've heard that one as well, singlet. Although I often thought the singlet was the one that wrestlers often wore, where it's like that, but it also has the it's like a onesie, right? It's right. I thought that one was the singlet, but I could be wrong, or maybe the name changed. I have no idea. John J. True story. In Minnesota, it's still a blue law that women can't have the length of their hair cut by any more than an inch without permission from her husband. Damn. So I gave my wife a note. She's Puerto Rican, so don't take it well. So didn't take it well. Yeah, I'd imagine that sounds very dangerous to kind of just impose any kind of silly ass rule on her or anything like that. Because yeah, it'd probably be the last time you ever say anything coherently again. And Ben Ellis, the rule of thumb is adding length to a piece of wood you're cutting for first aid leak stopping, but there is also the rule of boot. Thumb equal horizontal, extra length on cut wood, and boot is vertical. Okay, so there we go. See, so I mean, like, the rule of thumb, you know what I mean? Like, as far as, like, you know, the whole, assaulting your wife thing is concerned, yeah. Because I've often heard that one attributed to that, but I've also heard that one is actually false. I've never really dug deep into it and, you know what I mean, and explored it, but, yeah. So, I mean, that kind of explanation, you know, as far as being a carpentry term, I could believe it. You know, so who knows? J Plasma, hello all. Sorry I'm late. I don't know why people feel like apologizing, but you know, don't be sorry. Lord Krabby, I played a $3 scratch off game off with $54. You played a $3 scratch off, came off with $54. Gotcha. Now I read it right. Ben Ellis, I'm not religious, but my wife is a bit. She found it hard to conceive for medical reasons. So when our son was born, that was all the reason needed for that to be her little angel, Gabriel. Yeah, but Gabriel's a good name. I like Gabriel. Gabriel's a good name. It's a good name. I like it. Gabriel. It's a good name. Nothing wrong with that. I'm trying to think if I think I've known a Gabriel. Gabe. No, it's just Gabriel. Yeah. But anyway. Dark Commission episode 238. Names have power, said Mr. Watt. Dad joke. Got it. David Vaughn. Late to the party. Sup, Chris? Sup, monkeys? Sup, David Vaughn? Ben Ellis mistyped. Can anyone else not access Patreon? You can't access Patreon? I don't know. I'm not on Patreon. Not sure what's happening. I don't know. Sorry, Ben. I don't know. We'll have a look later, I suppose. I don't know. Patreon could be having an issue too. I don't know. It seems like Patreon's been having issues lately. Oh, you know what though? It is the 2nd of the month, and maybe their servers are busy because it's processing time. David Vaughn agreed. Names matter. I named my 2 sons after each of their grandfathers. That's awesome. That's great. Yes, that's awesome. Actually, that's kind of funny because, I mean, the wife's grandfather on her mother's side is a Fred, and the grandfather on my side, on my father's side, is a Fred as well. That'd have been kind of weird. There's Peter on the other, and yeah, Henry. I like Henry. Henry's a good name. I got an Uncle Henry. My grandfather was a Henry. Anyway. But Henry's a good name. Hank. Come on, Hank. Get to nickname your kid Hank. It's great. If it's a girl, great. Name her Hank. Why not? Hank. It kind of has a nice sound to it. Hank. Why not? In this day and age, you know what I mean? Like, you know, the name, and especially if the name matters, I mean, like, you know, and the person, you know, you don't know what their future is going to be like, and you kind of save them a step if you give them kind of a, you know, a gender fluid kind of name, you know, you might be helping them out. I realize that the odds of it are very, very low, but, you know, Who knows? You never know. Thinking ahead, you might be perceived as a genius later on, right? Thinking ahead like that. Raziel, Kris, are you going to LVO? And if not, why the hell not? Vegas. You know what? No. I'm not going to LVO. I've never been to LVO. It's one I wanted to check out. I'd love to check out Vegas. But yeah, I've not done it. I'm afraid it'd be awesome if Mini Wargaming covered LVO. I know we've done it in the past. I don't think we're going this year. I don't know. I can't say for sure. But yeah. Yeah, LVO. Vegas. I don't know. Who knows? I'd probably get myself into a lot of trouble in Vegas. I think I would. A lot of, hookers and blow. You know what I mean? I can't be around that stuff. I'd get myself in trouble. You know? My morality is really flimsy. It's super, super flimsy. So he did it again. Funny, not funny. It's funny, but not funny. It is. I mean, there's some things in life that are funny, but not funny. It's, you know what I mean? It's kind of like our situation, the political situation in America. It's funny, but not funny, right? It's like our environment. It's funny, but not funny. You know what I mean? Like, David Vaughn. No, I think wife beater, if funny, all the way though. Sure, right? He ends it with JK, but I mean, like, it's awful, but I think you're still normal as long as you recognize that it's awful and you're not actually, into spousal abuse, or flat out just assaulting, right? Just assault. Let's just, it doesn't have to be spousal abuse, because I mean, spousal abuse can go either way, right? It could be the woman beating up on the man beating up on the woman, but flat out, it's assault either way, and assault really shouldn't be funny, but it kind of is, at times, because you think sometimes there's kids out there, they're just snot-nosed little punks, and you just, you know what, they need a good assault session. They just need a good ass kicking. And yeah, so maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why the world's at where it's at right now. Is not enough kids are getting their ass kicked. I'm a firm believer in that, believe it or not. I know it sounds awful, and it is awful. It's funny, but it's not funny. And yeah. Dark Mission, you could go by Charlie Chan naming root, son, number 1 son and number 2 son. My dad used to make that joke all the time. Son number 1. Because I'm the oldest, right? So I say, oh, I'm number 1, but it's only because I'm, I was the oldest, right? So, Ebb and Flow. Brock was the dwarf that helped craft Mjolnir, Thor's hammer. The story hinges on the bet between Brock and Loki. Loki loses the bet, and Brock sews his lips together to shut his lying mouth. Interesting. Yeah, didn't know that. Very cool. I mean, I'm not up on my Norse mythology, so, Lord Krabby, if I had children, I'd name my sons after Roman names and daughters from Greece. Sure. Why not? Like Athena? Where are these names? How come there's no Athenas being born? You know what I mean? These god names, right? Ares. That's a great name. Name your son Ares. God of War, though. Be ironic if he got into fights all the time. Would it be ironic? I don't know. Is that the definition of irony? Reziel. Nah, Kris, Vegas is a lot cleaner and corporate than you think. New Orleans, though. Now, see, New Orleans is one I was wanted to go, and when I was living in Memphis, we were planning to hit Mardi Gras that year. We didn't get to, but yeah, Mardi Gras. That's another one where I'd probably come back with an STD for sure. Ben Ellis, oh crap, in 3, 2, 1. Emails? Holy crap, it's 1 o'clock. Yeah, you're right. We gotta get to some emails. That's okay. I've only got a couple emails, but I do have one from you, Ben, and I do know. David Vaughn, hookers and blowing beer. Now that's a fun night. Yeah, see, man, because yeah, because it's like the circle of life, Simba. The hookers blowing beer. Well, alcohol, not beer, because beer kind of fills you up, right? I mean, but if you're going for more harder alcohols, because you don't want to bloat, right? I mean, because beer, sometimes you get a lot of beer in you and you're kind of bloated, and you do blow, you know what I mean? It peps you up to keep going and do more alcohol. But then, of course, you know, if you have, you know, the hookers present, then of course you're not, and you're doing a lot of blow, then it doesn't really help with the whole situation there, because it's like pushing a rope, right? So, you know, yeah. Maybe it's a vicious circle. So really, you kind of got to take one of those elements out. It's kind of, what is that diagram with the 3 circles, right? And then you have the intersection of all 3, and that's where you want to find that little balance. Or are some of you still processing the pushing rope thing? Because it's more of a guy joke, really, but because any guy knows, you know, pushing rope, it's really hard. Anyway, Eric Fountain, haha, Jim White, or worse, the nearby Games Workshop star. Ooh. Yeah. A Venn diagram. Thank you, Reziel. Venn diagram. Yes, a Venn diagram. Reziel, I want to hear the Lion King chorus sung about that circle of life. Yeah. Ghost Starman, let's name your kids Snap, Crackle, and Pop. Why not, right? Anthony B, yes, I'm aware. I live in the Vegas Valley. Do you live in Vegas, Anthony? Really? So if I went to Vegas, like, we could, you know, shotgun some beers? See, that's what I'm talking about. See, like, gee, I can't go to Vegas, man, because, man, I'm going to get arrested. I'll get arrested, and then, you know, the intro of Way of the Brush will have, like, my mugshot up there and everything, you know. Pushing rope equals thumb it in. Oh, jeez. You're making me choke on my coffee here. Ghost Starman Deluxe, if you got the hookers, you gotta stay off the beer. The beer will, shall we say, make you more of a softie. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Pushing rope, man. It's pushing rope. Go ahead, find a length of rope and try and, you know, like thread the needle kind of thing. Matthew Perez, I work with an Athena about my age too early, mid-20s. Or she's not too early. She's my age too, early mid-20s. Gotcha. I read that. Like, she's my age too early, mid-20s. I was like, huh? Anyway. Anthony B, you already know we'd be shotgunning beers. I know we'd be shotgunning beers. I know we would. Dude. Solid old PG stream right there, right here. What? It's PG. You know, it's not like I was, you know. J Plasma, I'm so damn lost. Oh, jeez. All right, yeah. You know what? Oh man, I've drank too much coffee. I have to be right back. Dark Mission Down Bellow, your new age daughter. Oh jeez. I have to go to the washroom. This is a partial break here. Hold on. You know what? No, yeah. I'm gonna mute it. I'll be back in like 30 seconds. More like 45, but something like that. All right, I'm back. I'm sorry for that interruption there, kids. I usually take care of that before the show, but I was up early and it wasn't processing. It wasn't processing as fast as I'd like. Anywho, yay, coffee, sell it home. Yeah. Go Starman Deluxe. Guys, we made Kris piss himself. Mission accomplished. Job was left not. As long as you don't shotgun a... Oh, jeez. As long as you don't shotgun a hooker and blow a beer. Oh, man. That's... Jeez. I don't know. John J., if you shake it more than 3 times, you're playing with it. Yeah, okay, I'm playing with it. David Vaughn, just remind Kris to wipe front to back when he does. And he's done. Front to back? Lord Krabby. Shotgunning beers is a circle of life, I tell you what. Yeah, Anthony B. How much rope is he pushing right now? Oh, you guys are killing me. Okay, we gotta get off this train, man. This train, yeah, this train is just, we are off the rails. Let's do an email. Here it comes. If you're wearing headphones, turn them up or down, whichever it is, but here it comes. Email time. Email time. Man, I'm just thinking of just the dumbest stuff right now. This one is from Ghost Starman Deluxe. Hi, Kris. This is the Goblin monk that I finished painting during today's show. This was last week's show. He sent this one. He's a D&D monk, so think more of a ninja than a Gregorian monk. He's a swift and agile fighter who swings from lampposts and builds to kick people's faces. No, buildings. He builds to kick faces. He buildings to kick people's faces. Blasting away with his pistol all the while. The mark on his face is supposed to be freshly daubed paint, as opposed to tattooing on his back. Haven't got any particular question today. Just wanted to share this guy because I think he is cool. Thanks for reading our emails and being a generally cool dude. Ghost Starman Deluxe, aka Jonathan, aka a man with too many unpainted minis. Yeah, that's the other one I should add probably to my names, right? Aka a man with too many minis. Unpainted minis. So let's have a look at his offerings today. And look at this. I like this. He's swinging from the lamppost. Kind of this whole John Woo kind of vibe going on with the little guy. Oh, it's like war paint on his face kind of thing. I get it. I like the patterning on the orc totem on the top there. Nice and clean. It's good for a laugh. I like goblins. Like the new goblin. Oh yeah. He's like jumping off and he's like getting ready to sidekick somebody upside the head kind of thing. The new goblins for Age of Sigmar, those are just too damn cool. Oh, look at all the red plastic in the background. Ooh, look at all the orcs. Somebody does have way too many unpainted minis. Very, very cool. I dig it. I like it. I do like the little paint on his face. You know, just kind of war paint on the thing. Really good work, Jonathan. Awesome stuff. Ghost of Starman Deluxe, as it were. And so, yeah, thank you for sending that in. Awesome piece. You know, goblins, they're always too damn funny. I mean, you know, what more can you say about silly little goblins? Any comments pressing in the chat at the moment? Otherwise, we'll time we at. Yeah, we're at 10 after. Okay, we've got time here. Go start my. Ooh, it's my email. Yeah, Matthew Perez. Whoop, lunchtime. Time to go, but I will see everyone next time. Thank you all for the laughs. Yeah, Ben Ellis. That is a fun model. Nice fun model. I agree. Ghost Starman Deluxe. By the way, his name is Pob. Okay. Dark Commission, great model. It is a great model. I like it. It's fun. It's very comical. It's got a lot of movement to it. You know what I mean? You get a full sense of, like, you know, he's kind of John Wooing his way around. He's got the pistol, and you know what I mean. He looks like an action hero. It's a goblin action hero, right? of the new I was talking about the Age of Sigmar goblins, the new ones there, and I like the one who's got like the little backpack thing, and it's got like liquid pouring into the jar, and the other one is his hand out, like, you know, he's like, give me $1. I like that one. That one's fun. Aaron Seach, that spiral that you talked about at the beginning of the show always seems to be a downward one. Yeah. I always start the show off with lofty goals, like we're gonna illuminate the mind and, you know, and reach into the deep soul of things and truly come out with a profound and life-altering experience. And then it usually devolves into dick and fart jokes the entire time, and you know what I mean? And so, yeah. I mean, it's like, today is going to be a truly great show. We're going to talk about this, and we're going to help people with, you know, their painting questions, and it's just going to be truly, truly awesome. And then, yeah, we delve into into some really dark territory. Enforcer 357. I've got to head out for now. Take care, monkeys. Later, duder. Go Starman Deluxe. Thanks, Kris and monkeys. No problem, duder. I liked it. I like the piece, and I'm looking forward to more kind of orc bits and stuff like that. Have you considered, you know, picking up some of the newer Goblin stuff to incorporate into 40K? You know, just for comical things. That's kind of hard for some of the pieces because they're kind of really fantasy specific. But I love all the squigs and the mushroom stuff, and you know what I mean? Like, it's awesome. It makes me kind of wonder, you know, if GW is going to head that kind of route for some 40K stuff, right? Like, are we going to see some more kind of like squig things in Orc Army, right? I realize that Orcs just got done, but by the time, you know, they're due for a redo, you know, are we going to see, or even a new kind of orky kind of faction, right? Where they have more squiggy kind of stuff, you know? That'd be kind of cool, right? 40K squig army, like more snake bites. Think like snake bites, right? Like more primitive type orcs, but they're still wielding bolters and things like that, you know? I think that'd be kind of fun. Of course, too, they could just easily fit into Age of Sigmar. Of course, these are goblins, though, with the squigs and mushrooms and stuff. I always lump goblins and snotlings and orcs all into one, because in 40K, it's all one thing, right? Whereas in the fantasy setting, they're separate kind of things. Yeah. I don't know. But either way. The Bad Edge. Oh, there's a name I haven't read in a bit. The Bad Edge. The Bad Edge? The Bad Edge. Afternoon, Kris and monkeys. What have you been working on lately, Kris? What have you been working on? Nothing. Sitting here, just still doing my thing. Trying to illuminate people's expectations of the painting hobby. And failing. Ben Ellis. Kris, to be fair, last month you helped in raising $1,100 for some kids. This month we're talking about thumbing it in. Right, so like, you know, like, and like I say, you know, Kris is fickle, right? So I mean, you know, sometimes it's charities and sometimes it's a depravity. Ben, how things change. Ghost Starman Alex really wants some of the new squigs, in particular the Mangler squigs. Also want some of the oldish Savage Orcs. Yeah, they'd be cool. The new Mangler squig, this might sound kind of cliche coming from me, because I know like Lee's always like shaking his head, but I thought the Mangler squig would be bigger. And I realize that, you know, that's... and the thing is like, you know, it's almost gravity defying how the squigs are arranged above each other, because like there's only like 3 little contact points on the model on how they arrange. So like, you know, like how it assembles is really, you know, you really have to follow the instructions and make sure those points are glued properly. And you definitely when assembling that model, you definitely want to use plastic cement when assembling that kit, rather than trying to use super glue or any other kind of glues. Use plastic cement. Melt those parts together to make that bond absolutely secure, because anything short of that is going to break, and that model is going to break on you all the time if you don't use plastic cement. Definitely. The bad edge at Kris. Same here. Yeah. So let's do another email because yeah, we're 20 after 1. We've got time. We got time. Do we need another intro? Has enough time passed? Yeah, let's do another intro. Headphones, turn them up or down, whichever it is, but here it comes. Email time. Email time. That much, and that much. Well, yeah, wash your hands first. Go wash your hands. Jeez Louise. Anyway, oops. Gotta get rid of that. This one is from our good buddy, Dark Commission. Hi, Mighty One. Here is my latest completed project. I started painting this figure about 4 months ago and made a mess of it. It was painted over 4 times and then left in my to-do cabinet. As I'm about to embark on a new special project, painting projects, I thought I'd have a go at rescuing her first. The gashes on her arm were added to cover up awful tattoos I had tried to paint on her. I decided to go a bit further and glued on some glass shards made from cut up plastic packaging. Oh, cool, okay. As if mere plate glass would stop her from burning your sorry ass.
How much creamer?
Yeah, like that much, and then rest coffee. Thank you, my boy. The color shift paint is Electrum by TD. I decided to keep her eyes blank to give her more ruthless and menacing look to counterbalance her physical beauty. And as she is a cyborg assassin, I ain't arguing, lol. Hope you and the monkeys enjoy. Cheers, John, aka Dark Commission. P.S. As always, your CNC are most welcome. And so let's have a peek at his work. Wrong one. Sorry. So they gotta make bigger buttons. I usually use XSplit, and it's usually a little bit, Anyway. So, the armor is like one of the first things that stands out, and it's a Electrum, and you can see the color shifting. So, like, you see how it has like a metallic sheen to it, but to see this in person is probably something really kick-ass because, thank you, my boy. Oh, dripping coffee everywhere. Yo. Sorry, I'm distracted there. Son was bringing me a coffee. And so, yeah, the metallics there, you can see that there's golds and reds at play and stuff. And obviously that's the color shifting. So as you would look at this in person. And now what I like is that he's used the metallics and then put a black over to break up all that surface, right? And I think that's really, really cool. I think that was a pretty good decision. I don't think that, like, you freehanded that all, right, John? You didn't, like, that wasn't on the miniature because that looks like it's painted on. You just painted the lines in place and created that that mosaic across her armor. The flesh looks good. I think a little bit stronger contrast in like where her breast touches her bicep, in between like the elbow joint there. Yeah, I think just a little deeper contrast in those areas, especially like on her hairline, around like her flesh and her hairline. I think a little bit of outlining in the eyes also would have been really, really cool. The glass shards, that's a really great idea. I like that. You really get a sense of them. Like this picture here, you kind of see them, but then you really see them here. Like she's got this busted glass in her arm. That's a really fantastic idea, man. I really, really like that. That is really awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I can't see the chat. Oh no, wrong one. Yeah, I can't quite see the chat at the moment, so I can't know. I don't know if you answered my question about the lines. I think the lines are hand painted on. And I remember when spoiler, we were already kind of talking about this model beforehand, and yeah. Oh, even her fingernails are painted. Did you use like a metallic on her fingernails? Did you do them kind of differently? I think, yeah, because I think like if you, I think one thing that I'm kind of at odds with is the white of her panties, of her underpants. I might have gone with a different color. Oh, she's got like little. Oh, she's kind of like Ghost in the Shell kind of thing, right? Is that the vibe she's supposed to kind of have? I'll bet you that's the kind of vibe she's supposed to have. So yeah, you could have went anywhere with this, really. Very, very interesting. Yeah, I think just a little bit stronger contrast, like you see, like in her elbow and her midriff. See, it's kind of light there. I think I would have went just to like create a little bit more separation in that point. You know, kind of closer to her armpits. Probably a little deeper shadow under the breast. Probably a little bit more separation between like the fabric of her underwear. You know, just those kind of things. Just a little bit more deeper shadow. Not so much black lining, but yeah, just a bit deeper color. But really fan. Oh, and the eyes. Yeah, the eyes. I think I would have also have done just like a little deeper color. Just create a little bit more separation. I mean, like I like that her eyes are kind of solid like that. I think another thing that would have kind of looked cool is if you went kind of like kind of an ivory tone for her eyes, because white, like the white of the eyes, you know, sometimes they're pretty white. But if you went kind of like with a white and say like a light off-white to kind of represent her irises, so it's almost like you know, like a severe cataract kind of look, where you know, like the eyes are white but you can still kind of see the irises, kind of thing. Something like that. That actually would have given her kind of a haunting kind of look. Yeah. I don't know if I'd have gone with white underwear though. I'm not 100% sure. Let me see if I can find the comment here. Afterburner. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's dark commission. It's afterburner, not electric. Yeah, because afterburner is kind of. Do I have afterburner here? No. But anyway, yes. Ben Ellis, the endoskeleton is amazing. Eldari, very creepy. David Norman, hey Chris, hey, nice. Hey guys, nice work, looking good. Dark Commission, the camera flash has killed her flesh tones. Yeah, that's the way it kind of looks to me as well. In some of the pic, you can kind of see like on in the first picture, like her midriff. You can like it looks like the paint is reflecting a lot of shine back. Yeah, like okay, like the last picture here. I'll show this last picture again. Yeah, kind of like along her elbow, and you can kind of see like just below her ribs. You can see like there's a lot of shine coming back. But I mean, you know, like that's not bad, and I'm sure in person it all really works really well. But you know, again, that's and this is really you know, a big lesson for some in, you know, painting to two different standards, right? Because oftentimes, you know, like when we're painting and we're very, very happy with it, and then we take a picture of it and it's like, oh, look at all the mistakes I made, right? Because there's two different standards. There's painting to the eye and then painting to the camera. And typically when we're displaying our work for competition, display standards, or, you know, just posting online and, you know what I mean, and showing our best efforts, you know, you want to paint to the camera, right? But if you're working to high tabletop standards and judging is going to be viewed just by the eye, then, you know, you don't have to be quite as strict. But painting to the camera, if your goal is to, you know, to be, this is the wrong word, but to be flawless, then paint to the camera, right? It's not the right word. I don't like that idea, because it sets a very unrealistic kind of goal, right? And in fact, you should take pride in the things that you do that make your painting distinct, right? Some might see it as error, or, you know, over exaggerated this or that, but if it's consistent through your work, then it's your style. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Just don't be afraid to, you know, to do your own thing. You know what I mean? Like, I realize that some of you guys out there, you know, you're taking pictures of your work, and then you're like, oh, no, you know, like, this or that. And, of course, too, also, it is photographing the miniatures as well, which is an art within itself, because it's photography, right? And there are certain things that you should do. You know, just taking simple cell phone snaps of the models will get you most of the way there, but you really need to be able to take control of the camera. And basically, if you want to take really good photos of your miniatures, okay, first stabilize your camera, be it your cell phone or whatever, have it on a stable platform. If you can set it onto a timer or have a switch, all the better. And basically what you want to do is you want to open that f-stop up, go up the high, like the F number, right? You want that up. You want it to a higher number. It's like 9, 11, somewhere around that, right? You don't want it low. Low means shallow depth of field. Higher number means more depth of field. Because you ever seen some pictures of people's models and like the miniature is like focused on the head, but he's got like his arm forward and the arm is out of focus, right? Or he's got a sword and it's way out of focus and it's just a big blurry mess. That's why, that shallow depth of field. And that's one of the big ones, is controlling that f-stop. And you want to be able to control f-stop. And so if you can do it on your phone, on your phone, camera on your phone, great. Because I know there's some apps out there that allow you to play with that. But sometimes the phone won't capture that amount of depth. You know what I mean? And usually end up having to set it so that the image will initially look very dark. So if you can set it to a longer exposure on a tripod with a switch or on a timer, all the better. Especially if light is a bit of an issue for you. I mean, you can use even just regular, like, you know, ceiling light and stuff like that. If you had the picture and you had a bit of a bounce and you create it, you know what I mean? As long as you can control that shutter speed and have it open for a lot longer, even in low light situations, you can take really good photographs. If you know how to control and manipulate your camera, you can capture a good image, right? And you should always try and capture the image in camera rather than trying to import it over into Photoshop and play with it. And you know what I mean? Photoshop should only be used to create flavor. It shouldn't be the meat and potatoes of what you're doing. You know what I mean? And so, yeah. Where are we in the comments? I don't know. Dark Mission, yeah, the camera killed her flashlights, yeah. Jabba's left nut. Did her husband come home after too many Stellas and put her through a window? That's awful. That's not funny. That's not funny, Jabba's left nut. It was hilarious. Ghost Stammer Alex could also be cool to put some of the color shift in her eyes. Ooh, yeah. Great idea, Ghost Stammer Deluxe. Yeah. Eldari was thinking the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. Dark Mission, thanks for the great CNC, Kris and Monkeys. She's not bad for a rescue. Sandpaper was used at one point. Yes, definitely. And, I mean, there was nothing on that model that I saw that was like, oh, I can see where, you know, he had to clean it up or he was doing this. Nothing like that. So it's like tattoo artists who do cover-ups and stuff like that. Like, you did a fantastic job. And I mean, like, there was nothing there that was like, oh my God, you know? And I love the idea of like the broken glass. It adds character. It also had, like, you know, it wasn't quite as gory as what I would imagine, you know, with broken glass. I would imagine a little bit splatter, maybe a little bit, a couple runs here and there, you know. Because definitely if you'd have done her eyes, especially if you'd have done them kind of milky, because then you could create the iris and give her eyes direction of where she's looking, right? Because if she had glass in her and she has her pistol down like that, like she'd be kind of like, you know, like looking off to the side kind of thing, like, son of a bitch, someone just broke glass and got me with it, you know what I mean? Like, you know, so anyway. John J at Kris, there's a killer brush case. That's a killer brush case. Where did you get it? The wooden case. This is Artist Opus. They made quite a splash last year. And yeah, Artist Opus. they're really good brushes. I like them. I've been using. I use most of the time. A lot of times I use the 2, but most of the time I use the 1. The 1, and I also have a 0. So that, you know, they come to you can see right now they're all really good shape. Because recently I you know, made a point to actually clean them. Here, let me bring these into focus. You can see how nice a point these things come to. Let's get a little bit of contrast here. Let's switch this over. Let's change the focus. So there we go. And so you can see, yeah, holy man, we're right up to the camera lens now. See perceive the shaking of my hands. Yeah. So it goes from, well, your right to left. It's a 1, 0, and a 2. Right, so the 0 is in the middle. And so yeah, and yeah, I enjoy them. They're good brushes. When they were putting these brushes out, these were designed, or intended, I should say, to be competition for Winsor Newtons. That was the bar they were setting, right? Because Winsor Newtons are often regarded as the superior brush amongst all other brushes, right? It's often how they get billed. And yeah, so they had the lofty goal of creating a brush that would be, you know, the Winsor Newton slayer, as it were. And you know, I'm still playing with them. So far are they better than my Winsor Newtons? Debatable. Still preference. I mean, like I said, I'm still really playing with them. They blend just fine. They're really nice, soft sable, very, very tactile. You know, great draw. Everything you expect from premium type brushes, right? So, yeah, I enjoy them. But yeah, when you buy Artist Opus, they give you that brush box, and they also send you a little thing of brush soap. A little thing of brush soap. And I like the smell. Can you smell it? It smells good. I like soap. I like gold. Jabba's Left Nut. Can you do a just the tip on photographing models using phones and things? I have no clue when I take a photo. Yeah, I could. That would start to fall within the category of tutorials or quick tips. Whereas just a tip is more... just a tip is not very, you know, specific, really. I mean, it's really just me being a goof. But otherwise... yeah, I mean, like, I can do a quick little guide. I've done videos for mini wargaming, photographing models. I don't know if I've done any for my channel. Again, I mean, like, for a lot of things, right, like, you know, like, a lot of times, like, for my own stuff, like, I really, you know, I mean, like, if I've produced something for mini wargaming, I really don't want to do anything for free, because, I mean, like, I've produced something that, you know what I mean, that is a commodity. And, you know what I mean? And, I mean, giving out free things, you know what I mean? Like, I recently just did the just a tip of, you know, recommending everybody, you know, have Liquitex Flow-Aid in their arsenal, right? Using that as a tip. That's something I've said many times, right? So, you know, that's something that's just out there. And I don't think I've ever really made a video on it, right? And showing, you know what I mean, and demonstrating it, right? So, yeah, I mean, you know, but for a lot of things, I mean, because like if I was to do like just the tips videos, I mean, they essentially would end up being like quick tips, right? And I have a huge bank of quick tips, and that's what pays my bills, right? Steady employment, and, you know, having a job that I can do this, you know what I mean? And that's because there's that bank of videos that are valuable, right? And, you know, not trying to sound too much like a capitalist, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, that's my work, right? And I'm paid for my work. And if I just give it away for free all the time, then what's my work worth, right? So there is that, you know. Something given has no value. That's awful, I know. It's a really crap quote, but anyway. But yeah, making like just a tip. I mean, if it was something specific, really, then I guess if I think about it, what is the most common question regarding photography? And then I might make a video on that, because otherwise, there are a lot of videos out there on photographing miniatures, but there are some things that it seems like a lot of people miss a step somewhere, or what the key factor is, and maybe that's what I'll address in the video. Maybe I'll film that later, because I've been filming videos and stuff for at home, and so maybe don't be surprised if you see just the tip video on Monday. I might make Mondays like a just a tip day if I can get into a regular kind of schedule. John J, the shadows on skin elude me greatly. Really, it's all about blends. It's all about how you like to create blends. You know, what are you comfortable in creating as far as your blends? Like, are you comfortable, you know, feathering, blending, glazing? You know what I mean? You know, how do you like to create those transitions and stuff? And that's entirely, you know, up to you how you create them. And you know, just going for it, man. Just experiment. And of course, those are you know, good sized busts that he's working on, and maybe you want to pick up one or two of those every once in a while to experiment with technique, because those larger surfaces are good. You know, I do canvas painting, and I mean, like, playing with oils, I mean, that's a great way of getting a sense on how color and brushstroke matter when you are creating blends. Even the direction of your brushstrokes matter in creating effect. And I mean, you can watch any Bob Ross video and you'll see how brushstroke pertains to technique and effect, right? So, you know, there is that. So give it a try, John. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And don't be afraid to make mistakes either. Don't be afraid to just completely mess it up. Go, you know what? But I learned something, right? And always remember, education, it always costs. It always costs. Education costs. If you had a free education, was it really worth it? Was it worth the damn, right? Dark Commission. I learned this week that taking photos of the Mini against a darker background made for better pictures. Yeah, well, again, it depends. It depends on your lighting. It also depends on your camera, because I mean, like, you can take a picture of a dark Mini against a dark background and still make it all work. I mean, you can take a picture of a bright Mini and a dark background and completely mess it up, right? You know, so, or vice versa. The Bad Edge. Kris, did you pick up a cheap Badger recently? I'm patiently waiting for my Sotar. Didn't know when it's coming, but that only adds to the excitement. Yeah, I did. I had to jump on that deal. I mean, like, I see Ken a couple times a year, and you know, it's like, oh yeah, I'll pick that up, and then of course I keep forgetting, and it's like, oh, because sometimes it's not really high priority. But I was like, ever since the Extreme Patriot has come out, I've been like, gotta get my hands on Extreme Patriot. Gotta get it. Gotta get my hands, because I gotta know what that control valve, what does that add to the game? You know what I mean? Like, what, like, you know, that extra bit of control. That's the only thing I'm interested in, because like, my airbrushes, I already have high rollers triggers on them. I have Patriot 105. I put a high roller trigger on it, and I love it. It was great. It's very comfortable. Airbrushing is so comfortable now. And then the other one, what was the other feature of the Extreme? Oh, and smaller needle. And I have a Renegade Chrome for a smaller needle. So, like, I'm not, you know, like, that, those aspects of an airbrush, you know, I was fine with, right? But that extra little level of control in that control in the Extreme Patriot, I gotta know, you know, how much does that extra little bit matter? You know what I mean? I've got to know, you know, because I'm only used to controlling my airflow from just basically pressing it down and controlling the overall flow, right? And, you know, thing, and then thing, you know what I mean? 3 points of articulation for flow, and really kind of dialing in, you know, where your like where you are as far as your PSI is concerned. You know what I mean? Like it's like, is it going to give me the kind of control where I'm you know, I'm 12.5 PSI? Is it going to give me that level of control? I don't even know if you can do point of well, somebody's speaking Russian in here. I don't know what's this about. I don't speak Russian, buddy, so unless of course it's Basil. Is it Basil? Maybe Basil. I just assume because he's Russian, but anyway. So yeah, but I definitely ordered a Patriot Extreme, and I'm waiting on that. Who knows when that shows up? You know, it shows up when it shows up. I'm not like dying for it to come in. The one I'm really waiting for it to come in, I'm super excited, is Demon Wraith. One of the monkeys, Demon Wraith. I believe he's chatted in the comments here before. Demon Wraith. He was a generous. He's such a generous soul that he sent me a Gundam. And I've been talking about this for weeks now, but yeah, he sent me one. So I'm like, every day I'm like, is the mail here? Is the mail here? You know, like a little kid. Is the mail here? It's not here yet. I don't know. You know, so yeah, yeah. I'm not going to attempt that name, but hi. I see the I call it Russian, but what is it called? That form of writing. Obviously it has a name, and the name is escaping me right now because I don't want to appear disrespectful, but I can't remember what the name is. Cyrillic? Is that what it is? Cyrillic. Thank you, Reziel. Cyrillic. Okay, Cyrillic. Yes. Thank you, Reziel. Thank you very much for making me not look like a complete moron. Just a little bit of a moron. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being like, you know, 0.5% moron. I'm okay with that. Yeah. Job was left out. I got a set of Artist Opus as a surprise present of my girlfriend for Christmas. That's awesome. That's awesome that your girlfriend would you know, would think of that for you. You know, and say, oh, you know what? Yeah, maybe I'll get him a set of those. That's really cool. That sounds like she's a keeper, man. That's, of course, you already broke up with her or something. I don't know that it's. Oh, I'm sorry. Edward Horseman, Kris, what colors would you recommend to paint a Lady Olander from Nighthaunt Army as a Banshee from Irish folklore? Would like go for a white gray tone, but avoid doing ghostly greens and blues? What would you recommend? Man, with the Nighthaunt models, yeah, you can go anywhere with those. Because like I've seen one where Buddy had almost a glowing red, and it was a darker tone on the upper portions of the cloth, and it was a glowing red down below. And I thought that was just fabulous. I saw it, like, I think on Instagram, and you know, man, like you can go anywhere. You're like, how do you want to do a ghost? How do you want to do a ghost, right? Doing it like a Banshee, I mean, because you can go really muted and say, you know, have mostly light gray to like slightly darker gray, not quite like how Games Workshop does it, where, you know, it's a fairly dark tone at the bottom. You know, man, you don't even have to do that. You can go darker tones up by the body and go lighter at the ends, right? Man, you are only limited by your imagination as far as where you can go with it. And I mean, how do you want to convey that ghostly apparition look of the model? You know, man, you're there's limitless possibilities. Even doing plaid, you could do plaid on her. You know what I mean? Like, and that still would probably look pretty cool if you just went for it and made plaid. She's gone plaid, and you know, whatever, right? I would like doing like a ghost and sticking with a ghostly kind of vibe. I probably would stick with whites and grays, but I think I would switch the direction, because you know how it starts off kind of bright and then builds to a darker color at the ends. I think I'd go darker up top and bring it lighter along the ends. I think that's the way I'd go about it. So it's probably more execution rather than what color choice was used. I probably might use the same color palette, but I would change the directions of those shadows and highlights. Job was left nut. Maybe you should cover it in the academy. It's not essential. Because the Miniature Painting Academy that we're producing for Mini Wargaming, well, it's almost done. I'm on like the last week of it. I am almost done it. I'm almost done the damn thing. Man, it's been weighing heavy too. I'm just getting really tired of it, and just, you know. But now I'm like, we're swimming, and I'm on the last lap, and I'm just about there. And the whole purpose of the academy is to get you painting your miniatures as quickly as possible. As you may notice, if you've watched the videos, you've heard me say that tagline in the very beginning every video, and that is the point of the series. It is getting you painting your miniatures as quickly as possible. Do you need to take photographs of your models if you're just getting into model painting? No, you don't. You're not likely to want to take photographs of your models anyway when you're in the early stages, because you're usually going to be very self-conscious of those kind of things, right? So that's not likely. That's more of a quick tip. That's more of a tutorial, you know what I mean, style of thing. It's more of auxiliary, right? And I do have a few quick tips on taking photographs of your models, and so, you know, that's an additional reading kind of thing, right? So yeah. But I mean, it's a good idea. I mean, I still might do just a tip on it. Just kind of really quickly what the essentials are of getting the things done, right? Dark Commission, I've just ordered my first tub of Masters brush soap, 2 years, and $100 worth of brushes I haven't had to throw away. Exactly, man. Exactly. I like Masters. I really wish I could say Buddy's name that keeps writing in Cyrillic. I have no idea what that name is and how you would even pronounce it. Raziel, since apparently his wife is Russian and they met in Moscow, and so Raziel, if you can help me out, what his handle is, what is this handle? I would love to know. Ben Ellis, hello from Russia. Hello to all. Oh, you're translating it for me. Hello from Russia. Hello to all. Sorry, I don't know English. That's fine, dude. That's fine. I'm not, you know. That's fine. It's not a crime. Although, some countries it might be. I don't know. It says, uses a translator. I like your decor. Well, thank you. It's my home. I'm in my home right now. It's my office. It's my lair. My lair. Layer? Not like a layer, but a layer. David Norman, I watched your video about the OSL where you painted glowing lenses and it worked awesome. So I tried using medium to blend grays and off-whites together. It helped, but it's still chalky. How do you get a transition from Ultramarine gray to white, for example? If you're still finding that a bit chalky, you might want to try wet on wet blending, where you have the light gray and your white and you quickly blend them together. You might want to try that if you're not happy with your transitions like that. Because I mean, you can always glaze, but glaze requires many layers. You got to be fairly, you know, comfortable with it, and yeah, you know. So yeah. So hopefully, David, that kind of helps. Hopefully it kind of gets you in the point. I mean, definitely try blends, like wet on wet blending, before you do it on your good pieces that you want to, you know, do something good on. Try it out first, you know, get used to it, because there are a lot of nuance, and even if these techniques are relatively new to you, definitely try. Don't be afraid to try, and don't be afraid to fail at it either. Everybody fails their first time. Everybody falls the first time. Jay Plasma, I think I'll join the vault for the academy. Well, Jay, I thought, Jay, you were a bit more of an experienced painter. But, I mean, the Painting Academy, like I said, the Painting Academy is geared towards very new people. People who've wanted to paint their miniatures, don't know where to go. You know what I mean? The internet's huge with so much information out there. What do you distill from all this, and how do you... Because I think that's a big thing as well. So many people get intimidated because there is so much information out there. They don't know where to go, what to do, what do I... You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much out there, you know? And so, yeah. Hopefully that helps. I'm sorry, I don't know this person's handle. Cool mustache, thank you. Ghost Star Man Deluxe. Kris just put some pictures on us of a scale model I built recently in completed mini showcase. You might find it interesting. Don't have to look at it now, though. I will, though. I will. Ben Ellis and our Russian fellow are talking. I don't know if it's fellow. Could be female as well. I have no idea. Vasily, there he is. Vasily, my God, man. You know, help a brother out here. Yeah, now Vasily's writing in Russian as well. I assume Russian. I don't know. He could be something else as well. But anyway. I mean, they could be plotting behind my back for all I know. You know what I mean? We're going to hack his email account and, you know, sign him up for things. And you know what I mean? Like, it could be that. I have no idea. They could be plotting that right in my face, and I wouldn't know. Could be calling me a loser to my face. I wouldn't know. I'd just be sitting here smiling. Sounds good. But that's pretty much anywhere I go anyway, so. The Bad Edge. I just quickly checked out that Extreme Patriot. It looks really nice. The brush I'm using at the moment is a Veda with a similar adjuster underneath. Works great with the airbrush paint, specifically Vallejo. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, I've not used a brush that had that control valve under the nozzle like that. So, again, I mean, like, I'm sure for many artists out there, that kind of precision, that kind of control is important. For our needs as wargame painters, miniature wargaming painters, is it really, do we really need that level of nuance? Because I'm sure that level of nuance is important if you're, you know, into illustration and things like that, where you want that level of control. But I don't know if that is something that we really need as miniature painters. But either way, it was not like he was having a sale. I bought. Vasily, Kris, did you check out my email by any chance? Did I check out your email? Did you send me an email? I might have did it last week. Vasily? Or I didn't get your email. I might not have gotten your email, Vasily. I don't know. I can't say. Yeah. What time are we at? Holy moly, we got 5 minutes left of the show. I better hurry up and Can anybody tell me what the handle is? Like, what this person's handle is? Because, like, his name is in Cyrillic, and I don't read Cyrillic. So I don't know what their handle is, and I would like to know what their handle is. Can anybody translate for me? Oh, Kris, his name is Chester Twix. Chester Twix, that's his handle? Okay, so Chester Twix. Awesome. Welcome. Hello, welcome. And, yeah. Awesome stuff. So that's his name, Chester. Okay. He says, we have drunken bears with baklavas, balakas, and fur hats riding a ziguli. I don't know. All I had was drunken bears. Yeah, I know that sounds like really kind of typical of Russia, but you know, obviously it's not, right? Kevin Cabal, I ordered a Patriot 105 and a Sotar 2020 during the Badger B-Day sale. Ordered a high roller trigger based on Kris' recommendation. Yeah, I mean, like if you have bigger mitts, you know, big hands, using like that, the control, like, oops, I almost unplugged everything. See how often I airbrush at home, right? So I have here's my Patriot 105 at home, and yeah, so like the usual trigger is that long, so it sits like that, right? So it's really, really low, and I mean that's only about maybe a difference of a centimeter and a half, but that is all the difference, because if it's down here like this, you're like this, and like I can already sit in my finger like this, and in any kind of painting situation, I can already feel it pulling in here. Now maybe I don't know, maybe I'm getting arthritic, I don't know, but having your finger up like this is way more comfortable, and because of the longer length, you have a much more control, especially if you're working with you know, thinner material. Yeah, it's really, really nice. I like this airbrush. I highly recommend it to anybody who is new to airbrushing. I definitely would recommend a Patriot 105. It has served me well for many years. Dark Commission, Ben Ellis School of Translation. My donkey smells like of fish hair. Ugh. Job is left now. I picked up some good things from the academy. Every day is a school day. Well, I'm glad, Jabba, that you got something. Again, I mean, it wasn't really intended towards anybody who's, you know, even intermediate. I mean, but what my main goal with the Painting Academy is that it teaches you good fundamentals early. And I think that's really one of the important things, is teaching people good fundamentals early on, so that as you branch out and become more experienced as a painter, you're taking in the right information in, and you can sift through the minutia of not bad information, but irrelevant, you know. Giving you the tools to succeed, I suppose, is really another way of kind of looking at that. Knitfink at Kris, I have small hands and still use a high roll trigger just for better control. There you go too. Yes, Knitfink's got small hands. Yeah. And yeah, I'm sure that my reasoning initially was because of bigger mitts. I figured, you know, better control, you know, such a thing. And I like that kind of motion. It just didn't feel good as I'm working, especially when I was sitting there doing a lot of painting, and I'm because you're often pressing down, right? There's this downward force that you're often applying a lot of strength. Whereas when it's up like this, it feels a little bit easier keeping that downward pressure with your finger, right? Versus this, where it feels more like you're, you know what I mean? Like it's just not as comfortable. It's not as comfortable. And again, it's comfortable. It's comfort, I should say. It's all about comfort, and yeah. Jim White, Kris didn't butcher Russian, Ukrainian today. Good. No, I haven't. And Vasily sent an email again. Okay, awesome. And Chester is still writing in Cyrillics because reasons. I'm kind of curious, like, you know, if, you know, being native Russian speaker, and, you know what I mean, and if your English is not really that, you know, great, I don't know, what does one get from listening to me? Like, Vasily, like, what is the draw? You know what I mean? Like, is it just me being animated here on the screen? I mean, you know, making a fool of myself? Is it kind of just a dance monkey dance kind of thing? I mean, you know. Dark Commission, there ought to be special gym exercises for the airbrush trigger finger. I don't know. Yeah, I think I think really for airbrush control, you know, those hand grips, you know what I mean? You develop your grip strength. I think that's really all you need, right? It's just that yeah, the grip strength. Yeah, again, Chester is writing stuff, and I don't know what he's saying. Could be calling me a freaking loser for all I know. Okay, so really quickly here, we are going to hammer out the last few emails. So if you have headphones on, turn them up or down, but here it comes. Email time. Email time. Wrong thing. Oh yeah, I saw the email now, Vasily. Oops, damn it. Ben. Now that everybody saw my emails. Anyway, this one is from Ben. Hello there, Monkey Lord and monkeys. Here is this week's offering. Just basic tabletop standard for my own use. Many thanks and kind regards, Ben. And so let's have a look at Ben's. This is his Death Korps of Krieg. Very, very cool. Looking awesome. Love the texture on the base. As we all know, Ben is really, really proficient in his use of the dry brushing technique. And that's not a criticism of his models. That's actually intended as a compliment, because you often don't see dry brushing used to the extent that Ben is and achieving his desired effects as competently as he is. You don't see it a lot. A lot of people end up gravitating towards layering, and you know what I mean. And so using dry brushing to achieve all these kinds of effects, you know, he's getting his models done using dry brushing, and it's proof that if you master a particular technique, you know, you can achieve really great results. And it'll, you know, even one technique can get you a bit far. I often don't recommend, you know, just sticking with one technique, but use multiple techniques when you're painting. And of course, you know, I mean, like, not everything is dry brushed. I mean, you know, obviously the lenses are layered, and you know, like, there's, you know, obviously certain things, and you know, definitely Ben is ready. I think, in my opinion, I think he's ready to start moving on to blends, like wet blending, or even glazing. I've often used glazing to finish off dry brush sessions. Really great work though, Ben. Really nice. Love the color scheme. They're what, French? Like a French inspired kind of color scheme? That's what, is that what this is? If they were World War I soldiers? I thought it was French that had this blue red like this. Or maybe I'm wrong. No, I thought they had the navy blue coats. Maybe not red, but I don't know. Either way, really great color scheme. I like the bases. I like the whole thing. They just have that really dark, gritty, of course, 40K vibe to them that we all love. That's why we love 40K, right? It's the dark, gritty. Gritty? So here's another email. This one is from a fella called Cody. Yeah, just Cody. No online handle. I got this email today, and he says, "Hi, Chris. He says his title is Trouble from a Returning Painter. Hey, Chris, I'm a dedicated fan and Vault member. One of your videos suggested if I needed help to contact you via email in the link provided. I'm having a lot of trouble with an Ultramarine scheme for my army. I know my way around brush, and I'm also a little more advanced than beginner with an airbrush. I'm having trouble achieving a color I'm happy with and feel like I'm always testing out models instead of moving on to big undertakings of painting an entire army. I have a lot of blues from all the model ranges and have tried a variety of things, but feel as though I can't get the right colors. First attempt, Rattlecan McCraig blue, wash, detail, look like teen's first paint job. Second attempt, I airbrushed a model black, Vallejo Ultramarine blue, highlight electric blue, turned out kind of cartoony. I made the undertones look kind of purple. Third attempt, airbrushed a 50-50 Abaddon black and Cantor blue, 45-ish degree spray of McCraig blue, highlight of Calgar blue. It turned out looking like really good spaceal color, but it's not what I was looking for. I'm finding most people are going really light. Whilst I like the look of Crimson Fist, they almost have that classic Warhammer Ultramarine vibe. Any tips for a fan would be greatly appreciated. The lack of finding a good result is really unmotivating me. Regards, Cody." So he's looking to do his Ultramarines, and yeah, and it sounds like he's okay. Like from the first get-go, you think, okay, starting off with a Rattlecan McCraig blue would be the way to go. And I would assume so, especially if he's trying to get a whole bunch of them done. I think this is probably the best way to go, the easiest way to go, and you know, I think it's going to be the best way to go, I think. Rattlecan McCraig, but then I would take McCraig blue and do a layer on the model, thin it down, and apply a nice, even, smooth layer. Because again, the McCraig blue, see what might be happening here is you're laying that shade wash on top of a primer, right? And I think I've mentioned this previously in other shows, I might have mentioned this in Painting Auxilium last week before. But either way, laying a shade wash on top. Why did everything change all of a sudden? Anyway, laying the shade wash on top of that primer can yield funny results. And it's kind of like when you lay the ink on the paper surface and it bleeds everywhere. Of course, if you've laid too much primer down, so you don't want to lay too much of this down and then lay a base coat of McCraig Blue on top and then do a shade wash. And if you don't want to do a complete shade wash, do a recess shade. Just apply the shade wash into the corners and details on the model and then go back around with regular McCraig Blue just to, you know, even everything back out, and then do some edge highlighting with your other colors, be it what is it? It's McCraig Blue and then Calgar Blue, right? Oops. Oh, I must pull the wire again. Sorry, I'm just grabbing my blues right now. Yeah, McCraig Blue. And then I'd probably go Altdorf Guard Blue as the next stage. And then do an edging of Calgar, right? Calgar or Lothern. Or Hoeth Blue. You got a few options there. And if that blue, like, and do an edging, right? Do an edge highlight in those colors. That way you preserve most of it. It's kind of like, you know, if you've ever heard me talk about painting black models, like, you know, painting like black armor and leaving the highlights very, very minimal along edges and stuff like that, especially on power armor models. That's to preserve that base tone, as you really want to preserve that nice striking blue. And that's what it might be happening, is that you're laying too much, like when you're airbrushing, you're laying down a black and then Vallejo Ultramarine blue, and then, you know what I mean, and you might be pulling too dark a blue and you want more of a vibrant blue, and then you went with a 50-50 of Abaddon black and Cantor blue, and that might have been too dark. Cantor blue is a bit darker blue than McCraig blue, and McCraig blue is actually not as richly saturated a blue as you would imagine. It's not like Caldor Sky is a very nice rich blue, and you know, yeah. So definitely, I think that's what it is. I think I'd go back to the rattle can, prime the models, but do not lay it on too heavily. It's a primer, and then come in and then lay a base coat down of McCraig Blue from the bottle. Lay that down onto the model. If you're airbrushing, lay a nice even coat down with your airbrush as a base tone of the acrylic color, not the primer, right? Because even then, you're probably better off just priming in a gray, or you could do a black. I'd do a white or gray prime, and then lay McCraig Blue down. If you got the airbrush, lay the McCraig Blue down. Then I really wouldn't go into any kind of zenithal highlighting. I mean, if you really want to get into zenithal highlighting, sure, but then you run the risk of changing that overall blue tone, and you kind of have to bring it back using a color like Gilliman, right? You have to lay this down on top of it after you built the highlights up and did some edging. And if you find the blue is still a little bit light, you might want to hit it with a light glaze of Gilliman blue, resaturate and deepen up that blue tone. So hopefully, Cody, that helps and that kind of answers your question. I definitely would go with that. Chester is just writing up a storm here. Ben Ellis at Cody, try keeping a lot of the black round the edges on show, as it'll give it a dark, grim, gritty feel to your chapter. Only one of many ways, though. Yeah, exactly, Ben. There's a bazillion different ways we can go with this, you know. And Cody's question, I mean, it's a fairly common question, but you know, there's still many ways of, you know, of answering it and coming to, you know, a desirable result. I think really what would help clarify Cody's issue is if he provided an example of what he was kind of looking for, like what kind of style of ultramarine, right, was he looking for. Chester, I'm interested in separating the language barrier, but still we have an interest. Yeah, and I mean, I'm all about knocking down barriers and pushing the envelope, and you know what I mean. Oh, jeez. And ringing in your ear, apparently. And, you know, no, I think it's great. I mean, like, you know, Vasily is a countryman as well. And I think it's fantastic. I had no idea that people from Russia would tune in to listen to me gibber on about stuff. And And I think it's wonderful. And, you know, I thank you for tuning in. And, you know, it's just interesting to me to have reach, you know, so far, and, you know, hopefully help people, you know. Vasily, Kris, that's what he's here for. 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 You're losing me, Vasily. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, Vasily, I did get your email. And, holy crap, yeah. Well, oh man, I'm 13 minutes past the hour. Jeez Louise, I better hurry up. David Norman, Caldor Sky, Techless Lothern, go nice together. I have so pics. Recently, on Work in Progress, you can see how they go together on Stormcast Eternals. Definitely, yes, definitely. Chester, there's Mr. Meeseeks behind me. Show, please. Yeah, I love. Oops, jeez, to my camera. I keep snagging on that cord. Yeah, I got Mr. Meeseeks back here. And there's another Mr. Meeseeks too. I love these little Funkos. These are too hilarious. Ah, Mr. Meeseeks, look at me. Yeah. I would have a whole bunch of these if they made, like, you know, a whole bunch, like just different poses, different looks, because some of them don't have like the orange hair, or sometimes it's on the side. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah, I just get a whole bunch. I love Mr. Meeseeks. He's so funny because he's so super positive, and yet in the show, Jerry completely crushed his spirit to the point where he became a murderer. You know what I mean? And so it's just hilarious. You know? And yeah, Mr. Meeseeks. I like Mr. Meeseeks. It's funny. And if you're not familiar with Rick and Morty and that episode of Mr. Meeseeks, hilarious. It's one of my favorite episodes. Other than the one with the giants where they go to the village and Morty almost gets raped. It's not funny. But it's funny. To bring us full circle, it's funny. But it's not funny. But it's funny. Yeah, okay, quickly here. Let's get to another email. Anything pressing in the chat? Yeah, Chester's. Yay! Yeah, yay! Yeah. Okay, yeah, so email time. Email, because I'm committed this year. Again, I'm staying committed this year. I should be committed to you know, keeping up with my emails. So this one is from Kris. Some call him Tim. Hello, Kris and Monkeys, longtime watchers. Sending an email. I supplied some pictures of my most recent minis that me and my dad have completed. We both want to eventually start a commissioned studio. I know we've got some way to go, but CNC is greatly appreciated. The first mini is Clooney? The Scourge, a Dark Apostle of the Chaos Space Marine Army, or a Tallyman for the Death Guard Army. The tumors are sculpted from green stuff, and conversions are by my dad, and the paint job done by me. Second mini is a Blood Angel I've done as a palette cleanser because I've been painting Death Guard for a while now. No, that's good. That's smart. To, you know, switch up, you know, doing the things. Oh, I see what you did. Okay, so the greens, like the funkiness on the armor is sculpted by you, or was it sculpted by Dad? Conversions are done by the dad, but the paint job's done by you. Okay. I think it looks great. I like the conversion. Oh, he's not even got a Skaven head on him. That's cool. The blight on the armor looks cool. The paint job looks great. I like the colors. I like the gooiness that we can see on the model. I think the weapons, I think having like a rusty kind of weapon feels very nurgly, if that makes sense. You know, introducing a little bit of rust into the weapons, and like armor trim and things that should be metal should be kind of rusty, I think, if we're going to go for full-on nurglification. But I do like the pustulence, the blight. I don't know, whatever the heck we call it. Oh, okay, has he got a helmet? Yeah, he's got a helmet, And the Skaven head is like a trophy on his head. Now I'm kind of curious here. Oh, no. Hold on. Let me go back. Oh, I like the design on the tabard as well. I like that. I like the fly motif for Nurgle. I like that. Yeah, if I prayed to a chaos god, it'd be Nurgle. Oh, and he's got like a tentacle holding his bolt gun and his pistol. There's big maggots on the base. Very cool. I think it's really great work with the green stuff. I like the painting. The painting's clear. It's in places that you obviously wanted. I don't see paint, you know, that should be like on something that looks like it's kind of bumped into other areas, kind of thing, you know. So it's you know, it's really good. The highlighting looks good. Shading, you know, everything looks like where it should be, and that's good. Here we are with a Blood Angel. Very cool, nice and clean. Good stuff. It's a good angle. Again, nice and clean, and yeah, really good paint job. I like the green. I like that. It's got that nice glowiness to it. Yeah, excellent job, Kris. Wait, there's one more, I think. Yeah, there's just another side shot. Yeah, I think slapping on some transfers and such like that, and you know, really kind of finishing off the model, I think, you know, is next. And as far as you know, getting into commission painting, it's a tough game. It's a tough game. But you know, I think really, like if you're gonna, if you're absolutely serious, and you and your old man are gonna get into commission painting. Really knowing what your time's worth, knowing how fast you can paint a normal Space Marine, you know what I mean, and having a process down in place to know how fast you can get it done. If you can do that, stick to that, and accurately predict timetables for people, and you know what I mean, and meet those deadlines, then I think you would be very successful. And you know, yeah. If you don't know those things, I mean, and you'll notice that I didn't say anything about painting as far as how your skill level is painting, because as a commissioned painter, that really isn't terribly important. Because even being able to paint to, like, you know, golden demon standards, it doesn't mean that you can do a commissioned painting very well or within a time frame, or you know what I mean, or even getting what your time is worth, right? Because to go for those kind of standards requires a certain level of patience, and you know what I mean, and you know, a lot of artists are pretty finicky, right? Whereas if you can break this down into a process, this takes a amount of time, this takes a amount of time, you know what I mean, and we can hammer through, we can complete 10 Space Marines in, you know, 5 hours over, you know, an afternoon, and you know what I mean, like, you know how long it's going to take to do certain things at certain steps, and you know what I mean, and you have a process down, yeah, you'll do well. And you know, with your level of painting, I mean, your painting is neat. Paint is where it should be. You know what I mean? I don't know what you're waiting for. Start taking on jobs now, because you're always going to be waiting for the next thing. It's kind of like when people are afraid to start a big project, or you know, and you know, it's, well, I got to wait till this is done. I got to wait until I'm better at this, or you know what I mean? And no. Start now. Do it now. There's only today, right? There's only today. Tomorrow's too late. Today, get your projects. Get on those projects now, because you're setting yourself on unrealistic goals. Waiting till this is done. You're procrastinating, and it's no good. Start now. Start now. Get to it. Evolve as the project develops. You know, and a commission painting, yeah. Start now. You're only going to get better. And of course, you know, when you start off building word of mouth about your abilities, and if you can set timetables, and realistic timetables, and know what your time is worth, and know what things take you, that's the biggest and hardest part of commission painting. That's the biggest and hardest part. I'm a slow painter, and I know, and I get bored with repetition. But if you can sit there and hammer through projects, do 10 Space Marines in a few hours, yeah, you should be a commission painter service, because you've got it down. You got it down. You know what you're doing, right? So yeah. Vasily, yeah, we did this email ages ago. Because the original was sent on the 5th of January. I did this like a show or two ago, I think. Because we talked about your incubi. So, has the incubi changed? I'm just going to quickly... Oops. There we go. Because, yeah, I remember talking about... Yeah, and I think the incubi is still in the same state, right? So, yeah. I remember we talked about this. Or did we talk about this on Painting Auxilium? Or was it Way of the Brush? Yeah, because we talked about the Orlock here. Fantastic paint job. The problems of doing 2 broadcasts in a week. But yes, Vasily, I do recall I've done that email. I have done it. And to recap, great work. The incubi, I think the problem is with settling on those colors. You might be overthinking things. But yeah, I have talked about those models. I know I have. Pretty sure. Vasily, procrastination is my middle name. My Elder Army have been sitting on my shelf unpainted for a year. Now there's MTG, Magic the Gathering. Is that what it is? Chester. Watch online Rick and Morty? Question. Do I watch Rick and Morty? I watch Rick and Morty. We in Russia are also very fond of it too. Very Rick and Morty, yeah. Vasily, I don't watch the Painting Auxil something or other. It's essentially this, just often a little bit more coherent. I definitely would not be going off on tangents like I was in the first hour. That other show is free of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, if you want to get to the nitty gritties of painting and have, straight up discussion of that, then we talk that way. If we're going to go anywhere and we're free to go anywhere, then this is your place. Or both, whichever. I don't care. It's either one is me, so, what does it matter, really? Chester says, would you like to go to Warhammer tournament in Russia? Would I like to go? Sure. Why, you invite me? Awesome. Buying me a plane ticket? Never been to Russia, so... Actually, never left this continent, so, yeah. But yeah, Russia would be really cool. If I had the resources, yeah, definitely, I'd be all over the place. Travel everywhere, it would be really great, if this was something where, you could, go and visit other people in other countries and other lands and play or teach, and you know what I mean? Like, if that was my goals, I suppose I could make that happen. I don't know how. But yeah, if that was my goals. It's not really my goals at the moment. But it would be fun. Like, just go around the world and, and just meet people and, you know what I mean? And, share our love of painting and of this hobby and, of life. Loving life. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Millamber, woohoo, lunch break, Way the Brush. Jabba's left nut. I don't wear pants when I watch the show either. Vasily, can I watch this show somewhere? The recording of it, I mean. So what's your opinion on the incubi scheme? Should I keep those dark armor pieces or should all be white? I'm pretty sure I mentioned that, no, I like the darker pieces. You might want to change the contrast. Maybe you want to push a little bit darker shadows into the recess and stuff like that. You know, maybe a bit of edging. The white of the armor, I think, was fine. You also wanted, you might want to throw in an accenting color, like something like magenta or something like that. You know what I mean? The gemstones would be a little bit brighter, something along those lines, right? To really kind of make that model pop, because yeah, otherwise the model is very, very cold feeling, and I think you want to throw just a little hint of warmth in there. Or you could add even more cold, I suppose, by going with like intense blue or turquoise stones, stuff like that kind of nature. You know. But yeah, I think really, Vasily, I think the big thing is stop overthinking it, and just kind of just go on your instinct, go on your gut. Try that first. Just do the whole model. Go with your gut. Just let it run. Just let the paint flow, and let it happen. And just okay. And then look at it and go, okay, well, and then look at it with a critical eye and say, okay, well, what works, what doesn't, you know what I mean? And if you know, and then change it. I'm not saying bring everything up to the finish level, but sometimes it's helpful to lay like all the base colors down on a model, like just the base tones, and you can start to imagine where you want to highlight, where you want to leave dark, what you want to leave light, and you know what I mean, and all these things. And so, you know, you can try it like that, really. I think that was it for emails, right? Time we got. Holy moly. Yeah, we are Dunsky. Just quickly skimming through comments here. Dark Commission, Way the Brush, the rabbit hole of painting shows. Yeah, kind of sometimes, right? John J. Sign up with CK Studios, teach some classes. I don't know who CK Studios is. But I already teach, and with this painting academy, that's what we're going to be doing. That's one of the goals. And when we move to the new facility, yeah, when people come to stay with us, and you know, as part of the whole mini wargaming experience, might be some class time, and you know what I mean. If you had questions as far as painting is concerned or whatever, right? I'm going to be there, and that could be part of the package, and you know what I mean. So. A lot of things are changing and coming up, and it's going to be very, very interesting for mini wargaming for the whole experience. And so, you know, it's going to be exciting. It's definitely going to be exciting. And, you know, the transition is going to be a complete pain in the butt. But I'm very excited for our move and the basically new direction that we're going to be going. I mean, we're still going to be doing a lot of stuff, but there's all this other new stuff that we're going to be into. And, yeah, the business is not going to be the same. It's, you know. To you guys, it might seem the same, but for us, it's gonna be a new experience, definitely. Jim White, holy moly, it's 12:26 p.m. Mountain Time, and Kris is apparently still having fun. Yeah, it's 2:30 for me Eastern. -5 GMT. I don't know. -5, -4, -5. I think. Right. Anyway. Chester, we have board game Warhammer is considered a very expensive luxury. Yes, it is here as well. This wargaming is a luxury, right? It's only, you know, there was a meme I saw a long time ago where it was, you know, Warhammer 40,000, and it was more disposable income than, you know, I mean, like something along those lines. And it was a picture of from a tournament or something. It was a bunch of Warhammer players, and it's true. It's very true. This is a luxury hobby, you know. But it's an expensive hobby. But all hobbies are expensive. I really don't know of any hobbies that don't cost you a lot of money. If you really pursue them and become passionate about them, just dipping your toe in, I mean, you know, is one thing. But you know, yeah. Vasily, no, I want to have a cold feeling. They're assassins, kind of, after all. Well, thank you, Kris. Yeah, well, thank you, Vasily, for sending in. Yeah, I did cover that. I can't remember where. I think it might have been an episode or so ago of Way of the Brush, or it might have been the other show. But I don't answer emails on the other show. I only answer Facebook posts or live on the other show. And this, I answer emails and live chat, right? So, yeah. Anyway. Chester, we have, and so prices are rising and wages are cut. Man, that's here too, man. That's here too. Ben Ellis, Dark Commission, follow the white monkey. John J, I think CK Studio handles travel expenses for their artists. Right, I don't know what... Send me a link. I don't know what CK Studios is. Are they like a commission painting service? Or are they like I don't know. Are they actual painting or are they just miniature painting? Either way. Chester, but we do not lose heart. Well, that's good. Should never lose heart. I think that's when people start really rising up. I think at that point when people have lost heart and see no other options for happiness in life, right? And everybody deserves to be happy, right? Well, deserves the wrong word, but everybody has the right to be happy, to live a good and happy life. John J., I will for sure be visiting the new mini wargaming for one of your classes. Right. There we go, right? Well, John, you said you're in Minnesota, right? So, yeah. It's a bit of a hike over here, but yeah, definitely, man. I'm not sure when the bookings start. If they haven't already, I don't know. So, yeah. Jabba's Left Nut. Would I have to wear pants if I come to the bunker for class? Would you have to wear pants? No, you can wear shorts. Vasily, I hope I can come to mini wargaming someday. It will take some years, though. Again, it's all about goals, right? It's all about goals. You never know. Airline prices could drop. Like, you know what? Like, traveling out of Canada or within Canada is expensive. It's not like the States. States, like air travel, it's like hopping on the Greyhound. It's just taking off, right? Whereas in Canada, airline tickets are freaking expensive. They're outrageous. To travel within Canada is expensive. In fact, in some points, it's almost cheaper to go outside into America, travel across to the other side of the country, and then come back into Canada. In some instances. Chester, we have vodka. Well, Dad, you had me at vodka. Come to Russia, we have vodka. And you know what? I mean, if I went to Russia, I definitely would have to drink. I'd have to drink at least my weighted vodka, I think. I don't know. That sounds bad. It sounds like I might die. If I go to Russia, I might die. It's like going to Vegas. If I go to Vegas, I might end up with an STD and all sorts of stuff. And I would go to Russia, I end up dead. Millamber, when is the mini wargaming move supposed to happen? I think we're scheduled for April. It's April, so soon. That's not far off. That is not far off. So, yeah. Dark Commission, origami is cheap, right? But to become good at it, right? It takes time and effort, and that's not cheap because. You know what I mean? But that's the kind of thing. It's kind of like knitting, I suppose, too. Because knitting, it's a skill and develop. You know what I mean? It takes time, and you know, I'm sure origami can become pricey. I'm sure. Jabba's Left Nut. Your hobbies are expensive. Blow hookers and booze. I don't know if. I don't know if all three counts as hobbies. As more or less expenditures. I'm not going there. Ben L is expensive hobby but cheaper than a shrink and better for your health than smoking. Yep. Who would have thought gray plastic crack was more beneficial than some of the alternatives? Yes, definitely. John J. No, I live in Connecticut. CT's Connecticut? Is that what it is? In CT, Connecticut? New Jersey in a few months. Okay. I thought you were in Minnesota for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's MD. Is MD... Is that Minnesota? No, that's Maryland, right? MD? I don't freaking know. My wife used to know all the state acronyms or whatever the frick they're called. I don't know. Anyway. Jim White, how about kilts? May we wear kilts if we have them? Kilts? Sure, kilts. Why not? You know, I'm not gonna. Man, you don't have. Dude, you can sit there in your boxers, your jockey shorts, your briefs, tighty whities, and a wife beater apparently, and you can wear it. You can kind of show up like that. I ain't gonna stop you. I ain't gonna judge. I don't judge. I try not to anyway. You might draw an eyebrow, but I don't judge. Of course, if you show up in the wintertime and you show up like that, yeah, I might question your sanity as well. Kevin Cabell, I was just going to ask that, Jim. Alrighty, I don't think we can get any lower. Oh no, Chester. We have Vodka Bears and Ziguli. I don't know what that is. Old Soviet Machine. What about what Russian can dream? About what Russian can dream? Old Soviet Machine? Is that like a Zamboni? Is that the same thing? Just for driving around on the ice? Is that what that is? I don't know what that is. It's probably not even close. I have no idea what. I'm gonna look that up later. But anyway, I think we're done. Yeah, everything's still running fine. I gotta remember to turn that down next time, just so that the stream is a lot smoother next time. But anywho, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you're a commission painting service, if you're brand new to this hobby, you want question and answer, you need some help with the color scheme, you know, you want to drum up some extra exposure, and just want to show off what you're working on, send your questions to kris@miniwargaming.com. It's in the description below, as well as a link to waythebrush.com. It's the central hub of all this silliness. Has the links to all the social media, the Twitters, the Instagrams, and Discord, Facebook. Discord's been a big one. We leave Discord up all the time. We're always talking in Discord, so feel free to join us in there. It's in the description below. It's also at waythebrush.com. And of course, waythebrush.com has links to t-shirts. Way of the Brush t-shirts, various designs and sizes and shapes and things. And if you want to look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world, they're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And so, you know, they also help support the cause and, you know, help keep all the bells and whistles and lights running. And, you know what I mean? Like, it helps. It all helps. And it's you know, a fun way to support. And of course, everybody who's purchased a shirt, send me a picture of yourself in your t-shirt, so I'll add it to the Monkey Shrine, and maybe I'll add it to the intro as well. And so, you know, again, a big thank you to everybody who has purchased shirts and everybody who will purchase shirts, and everybody, you know, always a big thank you. And of course, waythebrush.com also has a link to the Patreon. If you're considering Patreon support, big thank you, and a big thank you to all my patrons who currently support me on there. A lot of the things just wouldn't be possible without their support. Waythebrush.com is the big one, really. Is I wouldn't be able to do it, and I wouldn't be pushed further, really, to provide more. And, you know, and of course, the patrons, we also do the patron paint along. I'll have to take care of that tomorrow as well. And, you know, I try and give back as people give. Circle of life, you know, I believe in the circle of life. Circle of life, Simba. It's all a circle. And so as people contribute, I feel not obligated, but I feel compelled to offer more, you know, something else, something different. You know what I mean? Have an added benefit, I suppose, because, you know, people are generously donating, contributing. And so I'm always a big thank you to my patrons. And of course, I only ever charge per Way of the Brush, so it's usually about 4 episodes a month. So if you're considering monetary support, I think you can kind of work out how much, you know, you'd be contributing. And waythebrush, of course, .com also. A big thank you for Carl Guymere Alfer, aka Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out if you love yourself some beer and some Blood Bowl. A lot of fun over there. And yeah. We always thank Carl for taking the time out of his busy day to create the email jingles before the email segments of the show, because, you know, without that contribution, you know, it wouldn't have, you know, it just wouldn't be awesome. And of course, a big thank you to my brother, Evan, for creating the intro music, for recreating new intro music, and for putting up with his brother's shit. And, you know, always a big thank you to him. And of course, links to his social stuff, I believe, is in the description below as well. And so, yeah, that thus ends the program. We fell down some deep rabbit holes. I don't know what else you guys are talking about here, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, we're starting to hit some territory here. I don't know what's going on. No, I'm not even going to touch those topics, boys. I want to thank you guys. Take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you. And I will see you guys next week. Next week? Yes, soon enough, though. Oh, soon enough, though. I have to make an announcement. It's pretty big. I have an announcement to make, and it's pretty big, but we'll save it for another time. See? Why are you guys still here? Why? It's not like anything exciting's gonna happen. Go enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Go do something. I realize that we're all in a polar vortex and we're freezing our nuts off right now. I think I'm gonna go have some more coffee. I'm not jittery enough yet. Seriously though, go home. Go do something. Go paint. Be productive. Quit procrastinating. Quit procrastinating, for God's sakes. Seriously, turn this off. Doesn't need to be on. There, I'm going to turn that off so you can't see the chat no more. Okay, I'll turn it back on. Now I'll turn it off. Man, it's like, holy crap, this was like a 2.5-hour show. Man, I got to quit jabbering. Get going. See my mic? Again, that's another thing. Patreon support made that happen. Nice piece of equipment. Like, I'm going to list all the things that helped. What was Patreon support, right? Go do something productive.